Let's do it. Howdy, 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 DizJabberz. It's Christian, and I am back on a Saturday night with DizJabberz71 presents DizFlicks Movie Club. Tonight, we are deep diving a movie that is iconic, a movie that is one of the most talked about movies when it comes to movie lines, when it comes to Christmas movies. And I don't mean A Miracle on 34th Street. I don't mean Scrooged. What I'm talking about right now is, I always get this wrong, is tonight's movie. We are deep diving Home Alone. Yes, Home Alone. But before we do that, I have a few things I want to say. So I'm going to remove this. I'll put it back up there in a second. And I do want to talk to everyone in the chat for a second. I want to see who's here. I want to welcome some people in. So let's see who we got. So Lena and Sam, thank you for being here. Lisa T, DizJabberz71, I'm glad you could make it. All right, Gary is Haru Mami. Thank you for being here tonight. Amanda Roper made it. Kevin, I love it. I love it. I love it. Stephen Roper made it. I know I saw, who else was in there? Star Woods. Hello, Star Woods. Hello, Richard Angelo Woods. Thank you for being here. Let's see. Oh, Disney's Enthusiast made it. I am so excited to see her here. Maybe we'll see more of her in a little bit. Oh, man. Sammy Skidoo made it. This is Christmas in July, guys. It's Christmas in July. And so I welcomed as many people as I saw in the chat. And I know you guys want to get this started. You want to get this started. Before we start, I want everybody to know that DizFlicks Movie Club, we did Tangled and we did Beauty and the Beast. If you get a chance, go back and take a little watch of those. And I promise you, you will enjoy the content that we create here. And if you do enjoy the content we create here, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you know when DizJabberz71 goes live or posts another vlog about some kind of craziness that we do here on the channel. All right. So I am so super excited. This movie, why don't you show it again, Christian? Sure, why not? This movie right here is one of my favorite movies. It's one of my favorite movies. To me, it's a Christmas movie. I know a lot of people might not consider it a Christmas movie. I think the majority of people do. I love it. I absolutely love it. I love how funny it is. I love the characters, and we're going to get into all that right now. And in the chat, if you guys would be so kind, I will keep track of the chat. If you have any questions you want to ask any of the audience, if you want to post your favorite parts, we would love to know about it. So, what was that message I just got? Oh my gosh, I just got a message. Somebody just said, DizJabberz71, are you doing this all by yourself? No. I am not doing this all by myself. I have friends, believe it or not, who are taking time out on their Saturday night to help us out. Well, to help me out. And as you can see, I'm ready to rock with my Home Alone shirt. And I brought friends. So the panel tonight is, it's an exquisite. You like that word? I'm trying to use a new word every day. An exquisite panel I have. The first person on the panel tonight, you guys know her as Gary. I know her as Haru Mami. There she is. Wow, Mickey Mouse is here. Did you hear? Hi, pal. All right. Haru Mami,
hello,
thank you for
everybody.
Oh, that's even better. I want a somber note. I want a somber mood tonight. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Maybe we should all do that at the end.
Okay.
That's a good idea. That would be awesome. Everyone's like, hey. All right. Thank you, Haru Mami, for being here tonight.
Absolutely.
We have someone else on the panel, Haru Mami, and you know her, and I know her. The chat knows her as Sammy Skidoo.
Hi. Hey.
There she. Every time somebody comes in, she says, "Oh man, oh okay." So now we have DizJabberz71, we have Haru Mami, we have Sammy Skidoo. The panel would not yet be complete, though, without Jesse Lee. And can you believe it? He's awake, and he is going to be on here with us. Jesse Lee and Ian. Let's bring them on in. Oh, man. Oh, see, this is working out totally fine, and we thought it was going to be a disaster. And wait for it. Sammy Skidoo's like, all right, I like what I'm seeing here. But we have somebody else. One more person, a YouTuber extraordinaire. This girl goes by the, she's laughing at me. This girl goes by the name of Disney's Enthusiast, but her real name is Morgan. So let's bring Morgan on in here. That's going to be the best part. I need to screenshot that at some point when we're all like, all right. So, guys, thank you for being here tonight. I am very excited to share. I think we're all very excited to share our wealth of knowledge about this movie. So I want to know, how many of you out there saw Home Alone in the movie theaters? Anyone?
Hey.
All right, so it's just me and Sammy Skidoo because we're a tad bit older than all of you other youngins
Awesome.
out there.
Awesome.
I'm older too, but my mom didn't take us to the movie theater.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
mine either.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. And
She
Morgan's,
said you have to wait till it comes out on VHS.
Yep.
and you know what's funny? Morgan's probably like, my parents saw it in the movie theater.
What's
I mean, I
a
saw it in the
VHS?
movie theater during Christmas, like Christmas time. There would be, we'd go, but not
Okay.
the day it came out.
Not the day it came out. Oh, yeah, back when, back in the dinosaur days. I get it. It's all good. And she agrees. No, I wasn't looking for that part.
We got one more
But-
person who watched it in the movie theaters. Donna, who doesn't cook Kennedy.
Donna, who doesn't cook Kennedy. Oh, Donna Kennedy is around our age, Skidoo. So she's one of.
How old do you think I am?
I'm not going to answer that based on the fact I could incriminate myself. So we are going to steer clear of the answer on that one. You look, Skidoo, you don't look a year over 41. A year over 41. I think you're good. No? 32.
We'll go
28.
32. Well,
I
no,
like
go
32
28.
better. You know what? How about we'll just go? All right, let's just go.
Get off of this subject.
All right, guys.
We're all
as you all
really
know,
is.
Tonight's I know. Tonight's movie, guys, is Home Alone. We are going to deep dive the beep out of this movie. We are going to have a great time. So how we're going to start this is this. We're going to talk about the movie, the music, and the players. All right, a little bit of history about the movie, a little bit of history about the music, and then we're going to deal with the players. And the players, I picked 3 great, fantastic characters who, when you think of Home Alone, I think this is who I think of. Hopefully you do as well. Now, before I start this, I do have to say one thing. Before we start this whole deal, I need everyone to raise their McDonald's cup, because this is how we roll here at DizJabberz71. Everyone has their McDonald's soda or sweet tea, and then we're going to little toast here. Cling. Beautiful. All right. So we are going to begin with a history of the movie. This movie was released in 1990. It came out on November 16th. I happened to be there opening night of that movie. I know. I get it. I'm an old man. I'm an old Yvonne Moldy. I hear you. The movie had a budget, okay, of $18 million. That's it. And it made $476 million globally. So can you imagine the profit from 18 million budget? An $18 million movie made over 470 something million dollars.
And this is
I think-
470 something back in 1990.
Back in 1990, exactly. Oh man, that is an insane number. It was directed by one of my favorite directors, Chris Columbus, and written by, oh my gosh, such an amazing person. His name is John Hughes. He was responsible for The Breakfast Club, for 16 Candles. He made such amazing films that talk about the youth of America. And maybe one day we'll deep dive Breakfast Club, because that's a great movie. We have-
No,
The Brat Pack, right?
that
was
was a lot to talk about, but okay.
It's such Breakfast Club is such a good movie. All those movies that he made, I think he did Uncle Buck, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yes.
So he has so many movies under his belt.
And
Homo-
yes, Miss Roper, I believe for all the actors in Home Alone are still getting royalties for this movie.
Oh, they have to.
Mm-hmm.
They have
Every
to.
time it airs.
And every
That's
time
crazy.
we say Home Alone on here,
No.
an angel gets its wings. I'm telling you, I'm not lying. All right. So, bless you, whoever that was. this movie put Macaulay Culkin on the map. I mean, nobody knew of Macaulay Culkin until this movie. I mean, you might have seen movies like My Girl, and you might have seen movies like The Good Son, but this movie is the one that propelled him to stardom. It might have been the start of his downfall also, but we'll talk a little bit more about that. Ian's laughing. He's like, oh, for those of you that know the history of Macaulay Culkin, yeah, he didn't have the greatest, rise to fame and then fall to, you know what I mean, H-E double hockey sticks. Okay, so exactly. So here we go. Now, I would like to talk about a little bit about the music. This movie was scored by John Williams, and all of us know who John Williams is. John Williams, he did the theme for Superman. He did the theme for Jaws. He did Star Wars, for goodness sake. John Williams is like no other musical composer that I've ever seen in my lifetime. When you hear John Williams music to a movie, you like kind of know. Raiders of the Lost Ark. Dun, 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 dun. Like, his music is iconic. It definitely is. Now, he almost did not score this film because originally they were looking for somebody named Bruce Brofton. The guy's name was Bruce Brofton, and he had to pass up because he was working on the score to Rescuers Down Under.
Whoa.
So he gave up on the Home Alone score, and he went with Rescuers Down Under. And I don't know, I'm not going to say that he made a big mistake. He kind of did. But when you hear Somewhere in My Memory, like, it's Home Alone. That music just makes, I got goosebumps. That music just, it reeks Christmas. It reeks holidays. And whenever I hear that music, either I know it's Christmas time or I know that I'm in for a double feature. It's on cable. I'm going to watch it. Oh, guys, I am so excited about tonight. But the next thing we have to talk about is the characters, and I think you're going to enjoy this. So the three characters I chose Kevin, because how can you not choose Kevin? Macaulay Culkin. I chose, come on, the Wet Bandits. They are peas in a pod. You got to grab those two as a character. We're going to take them as one character. Yep. And then the award-winning Mom of the Year, Kate McAllister, Catherine O'Hara. I mean,
she should
you know
still
what?
be in jail.
Leave your child home once, shame on you. Leave him home twice. Throw away the key. Throw away the key.
It's pretty amazing that it's called Amber Alert and not Kevin Alert.
Right?
Oh.
Oh man. Because not even the cops cared. Oh jeez.
Okay, oh, there's some kid. Well, they didn't answer the door. They must not be home.
Recount your kids.
Oh, yes, exactly. And we'll talk about the police force when we get there. All right. So I'm going to show you guys a little something that I came up with. I came up with a little bit of the actors then and the actors now. So let's take a little look. I see Jesse Lee's like, oh, I know some of them couldn't have aged too well. So here we go. So we have Macaulay Culkin looking, very, very dapper in his famous Home Alone pose, and then he looks
like Riff Raff from what is the Tim Curry movie, Rocky Horror Picture Show? He looks like Riff Raff.
Oh dear God, he looks ill.
I'll tell you what, he looks like he should have a hat on the street, and he should, like a scarf and a jacket with a pair of shorts on that goes like a crazy person on the street. Oh, so man. Poor guy. Morgan's laughing. This role, I feel like this role was made for him. I could not see any other person. Like, I tried in my head to say, could Corey Feldman play this role? Like, could he? Could that weirdo crazy kid who played Anakin in The Phantom Menace have played this role? The kid who was, it's turbo time, right? That kid from Jingle All the Way. Could he have played this? I don't think so. I think this role was perfect for him. And granted, you know how it is if you put Corey Feldman or someone else in this role before Macaulay Culkin. I wonder if we would think differently because then that role would have been his. But Kevin screams, right? His facial expressions. The fact that he acts like this little grown-up person, and he's like 7 years old in the movie. So I think that that role, like I said, it propelled him to stardom. Could have been a little bit of his downfall, and he totally rocked it. He was such an amazing character and made me laugh every time something bad happened. The Wet Bandits. We have Harry and Marv. All right, they look great there. I think, honestly, they don't look too terrible in the now picture. They look decent. I think Joe Pesci's got the 5 o'clock shadow going on, you know, and then you got Daniel Stern, who, all right, well, he could have aged a little bit better maybe, but
He still has the same face.
yeah, they do. They both do. I would love to see those two reenact a scene. Those Wet Bandits, they made the role iconic, and I would love to talk more about them, but I have a feeling that Jesse Lee and Ian might have a little bit to say about them. Just some fun facts. Am I right, Jesse Lee? Yeah? Anything about them?
Some fun facts.
Okay. All right. We'll get to that. Perfect. All right, I just didn't want to steal anybody's thunder.
Oh, no.
And Mom of the Year, Kate McAllister. Here she is. Man, and you know what? I thought she was a pretty mom, right? In the movie, I thought she was pretty for a mom. And then right here, albino mom. It, like, all of a sudden, I don't know what happened. Maybe she lost all the pigment.
Have you seen Schitt's Creek?
Yeah, she is in Schitt's Creek, and she's even whiter in that than she is in that picture.
Yeah. So,
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. See,
Morgan's laughing. Wait.
She's laughing at albino.
Oh, I'm sorry, Morgan. I thought Morgan was crying. She's like, my brother's an albino. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry.
See, I know her in this role and also in Beetlejuice.
Yes.
And I have to say that both roles were amazing.
Yes. Yep.
I mean, I can still picture her singing Day-o, Day-o.
Yeah, good movies. They were great movies. All right, so those are my 3 characters that I chose. I mean, honestly, the dad, I could go both either way with the dad. I mean, he was there, but he really wasn't. He wasn't like a major part. Like, he didn't go running after his son. The mom, right? The mom went after the boy. She's like, that's my son. They had that little, mom and son bond. The dad was just all the way. He's like,
we can wait till the morning to go get him.
Yeah. He goes, listen, we'll still get there on Friday. Let's just go back to my brother's house and eat shrimp, right? And trim the tree.
I mean, he was kind of right.
Well, he definitely was right, because at the end, she went through all this, and then she ended up trading for those dangly ones, right? Remember the guy in the airport? She's got a whole box of earrings, long dangly ones. Oh, man.
Well, we know where Buzz gets his attitude from.
Yeah, and Buzz is another one I definitely could have put up here, but if I was like a kid in that, like, his age, I would want to. I don't even know if I would want to fight Buzz or if I would be scared of Buzz, because he was like jacked for his age. He was like, oh, good. And then he had that flat top haircut, like he's in the Marines. Like, I don't think kids mess with Buzz, especially when he's talking about. He wasn't even scared of the South Bend Shovel Slayer, but we'll get to that part. All right, so we have history of the movie. We have the music. We have the players. Now, what we need to do is talk a little bit, before we get into this deep dive, we need to talk a little bit about some things that you might not have known about Home Alone. And some of these facts will blow your mind. Some of them you might know, but I have a feeling some of them you're going to be like, get out of town. So I am giving this now to Jesse, Lee, and Ian. Take it away.
I first have I knew the answer to the question Amanda Roper had about what the dad did for work, where they had so much money that they could just fly everyone to France. I wish that was one of our fun facts, because where did all that money come from? But let's see. So the things I do know, and I'm sure, like you said, that people might know some of these, but that Macaulay Culkin's brother was in the movie. He was the cousin, the bedwetter. So he was in there. Yep.
The Pepsi kid.
I know. You can kind of tell he's like giving him that like little brother look. Like,
yeah.
I'm definitely peeing the bed on you tonight. One of the facts that I already knew, but I love this fact because it seemed really nice, is that the picture of Buzz's girlfriend, when he looks at it, he's like, Buzz's girlfriend. Woof. That's actually a picture of a boy dressed as a girl because they didn't want to like make fun of a little girl.
Oh
I heard
my
that.
God.
Yeah.
That's nice
Yeah.
of them.
Let's just make fun of a little boy.
Yeah, like at least that way, you know, it's a boy dressed as a girl, and you know, so I thought that was really nice. I also read a fact that Joe Pesci actually really bit Macaulay Culkin, you know, at the end where he's
Oh,
like,
fingers, that's right.
he actually did, and according to the article, he left a scar. So
No.
that's a little weird. And there was also a fact that I guess a doctor had or maybe several doctors had analyzed all of the injuries that they would have received from all the booby traps and stuff. And the burglars would have definitely died from their injuries.
I think mostly from the falling backwards down the stairs.
Yes.
The iron in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't watch the whole video on how they would have died, but I mean, I think we could figure it out.
Brain contusions, cracked skulls.
Yeah.
Like,
Blowtorch. Jesus. Okay.
Oh, the icy steps too.
That's what. Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah, the
thinking.
fall down the stairs.
Some of those. Did you want to go with this one?
Yeah, so John Candy's part in the movie was entirely improvised, and they did it all. They filmed it all over the course of one 23-hour workday.
Wow.
Oh, that's right.
Wow.
And as I was watching my portion of the movie, I was like, wow, this was all improvised. And as we talk about it, you know, I think you know, just keeping that in your mind, it's like, oh wow, he's a funny guy, or you know,
yeah.
He's very talented. Very talented.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and so Kevin's stunt double in the movie, it was Kevin's stunt double, right?
Yep.
Okay. So they didn't just pick another, you know, tough kid apparently to do his stunts. They picked a 30-year-old man who was just a very short 30-year-old man.
Yeah.
Who was Macaulay Culkin.
Oh jeez.
And then finally, one of the most interesting little facts I saw was that the scream that we've all been doing was actually an accident. He forgot he was supposed to take his hands away from his face, but he forgot.
Oh, wow.
So he did the scream and left his hands up, but they kept it in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Iconic scene.
That was, I mean, there were a lot of facts on there, but I made sure to pick what I thought were the most interesting ones and ones that you'll probably remember next time you're watching the movie.
I agree.
Thank
I agree.
you so much.
That was awesome. And some of those facts, honestly, they blew me away when I first heard them. And then there's other little tidbits. I know the one that really got to me, because all of you know I'm afraid of feet. I can't stand feet. Get the feet out of here. I see Skidoo cringing. Not even the nail. It's when Daniel Stern was climbing into the window, they used real ornaments and he stepped on them. I think they were made out of crystallized candy.
Yes, they were candy ornaments. That was one
But still, you just step on those and the crunch, I would have lost my beep. I would have lost it. Just first of all, I wouldn't be barefoot in the house.
Real. The spider was real. That got put on.
Spider? No,
Oh.
that was a tarantula.
Yeah.
Nice.
Spider.
Did you
I don't
ever
think
notice that everything in the movie is red and green except the kitchen where it's blue tile?
Oh.
Everything The comforter, I think, is red. He's wearing red pajamas. The walls are green. They purposely made everything red and green to make it feel more like Christmas.
Oh, interesting.
So
Well-
I just ruined the movie for you because every time you're watching, you're going to look at what's red and green.
All right, so I'm gonna piggyback off of Skidoo right here, and I took apart. Now, granted, this is from Home Alone 2. This is a little scene, but it's the same bedroom, and this is what Skidoo is talking about. All right, so this room, I'm gonna tell you guys, this house, first of all, has the most roses I've ever seen in a house. Their wallpaper is roses everywhere.
It's
It's
the
red.
most wallpaper.
It's the most. It's the house that I've. First of all, the house
wallpaper.
is humongous, but the painted green walls, and then the wallpaper of these roses. I don't know. I just feel like it's too busy. I would get like sensory overload just staring at poor Kevin. No wonder why Kevin's bipolar. I'm telling you right now, like that. This kid, he isn't no hot or cold right now. And we're gonna talk about Kevin's bipolarness in a second once I start my deep dive. And by the way, guys. I understand bipolar is a sickness, and I think honestly, I think I have it because 1 second I could be like, oh, and then the next second I am like, I lose it. So maybe we're not calling it bipolar. Maybe we're calling it Kevin is a moody dude. All right, and we're gonna talk about that right now. Okay, so are we ready to deep dive? Skidoo, are you ready?
Yes.
No. Oh, all right. Get excited, Skidoo. You see her? Yes.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Yes.
By the way, Skidoo was totally asleep 5 minutes before we started this. Totally asleep.
I set my alarm and it drops. So every time I drop my phone, it like turns on silent. So I finally felt it like buzzing under my pillow.
All right. Well, I'm glad you are here. I'm glad all of you are here. But I think it's time for us to dive into this movie. So I have a new format that I'm doing with this. I'm taking the first 20 minutes. Harumami's taking the next 20. Miss Skidoo's taking the next. Then Morgan, and then wait a minute.
No, I'm
Hold on.
last.
Oh,
I know. I got to move people around.
Yeah, you put us in the wrong order. I was going to say that.
How about this? Does this work better for you? There it is. Okay,
know.
so I'm first, then Harumami, then Morgan, then we have Jessie Lee and Ian, and Jessie Lee has a lot to say about mac and cheese, and then we have Sammy Skidoo, and she's the finale. She's gonna tie it all together. Oh, she's like, Christian, oh, you son of a... She's texting me right now. She's like, what do you mean tie it all together? I thought I was just talking about the movie. Okay, so here we go, guys. The first part of the movie opens up with that famous 20th Century Fox, right? That big logo, brum, boom, brum, boom, brrr. Whenever I see that, I'm going to date myself. I think of Star Wars. Because in 1977, when Star Wars came out, that was everything. When that came on, I knew I was watching Star Wars. I knew it. And guys, I don't think I could ever watch any other movie and see that and not think I'm going to see A Long Time Ago in a galaxy far, far away pop up on the screen. So, yes. So we see our little logo, our little intro, as we could call it as YouTubers. Our little intro comes up. Then you hear the Home Alone suite, that iconic music from John Williams. And we open up to a house now. So the scene opens up. Are you ready for this house? This house has way too many windows. This is the kind of house that you would see in a horror movie, right? This is the kind of house that you don't run to in a horror movie. You can't hide in that house. I know I couldn't, right? That house is it's a scary house. And by the way, every single house has single independently lit windows. So that means, what does it mean, Harumami? You were talking about this.
every window is unlocked.
So that means every window's unlocked, and that means a cord has to go inside
To
into the
plug that
plug.
thing in. Mm-hmm.
Their electricity bill, first of all, must be nuts.
No
Right?
safety in that house.
There's none. You can't hide. You can't do anything alone in your room. Poor Kevin and Buzz.
You
All
know-
right. So
You know what? I think I know what he did for a living to get all that money. I think he was a hitman. So he's not worried about the windows being unlocked.
funny
You
that
know,
you should.
He has light timers and stuff like that.
Yeah, he does. And not only that, you got Uncle Frank, who is probably one of his gangster friends, right? It's probably because he steals silverware. He steals the little crystal off the plane. So, and Uncle Frank doesn't give a crap about anybody. He's like, look what you did, you little jerk. Like right into his own nephew. He turns on him, and the dad's scared of him because the dad doesn't say anything. The dad's like, oh.
Dad of the year.
You know what? These are parents of the year, Gary.
Yeah.
These are parents of the year. All right. So now, the next scene, you have like 850 kids running around the house. I'm telling you, literally every time I see those scenes, I feel like I see a new kid. There's like 850 of them going up the stairs, down the stairs, throwing bags, having to pack for their little vacation.
Little.
And there's a police officer standing at the bottom. Enter Joe Pesci. He's standing there at the bottom, this guy, right? If I saw a police officer standing in like the what is that called? A foyer?
The foyer.
The foyer of my house. Like, I'm not just gonna walk by the dude, right? I'm gonna be like, what did I do? Like, you know what I mean? Like, can I help you? Not one person reacts to him. They're all just like, they're running back and forth. So that part right there stuck out to me. Joe Pesci, he probably could have stole like everything at that moment. Nobody would have cared. He probably could have started taking lamps and little like took the forks and knives from that point. Not one person acknowledged it, which is a little strange to me. All right, so and this is where I get to, the parents have way more roses than any normal person should have on their walls. All right, this makes people, like, if it were me, it's like a padded room, right? I'm looking at all these roses everywhere. It's in the living room. It's in the dining room. I think Skidoo said something about just the kitchen was the place without.
With the blue tile.
With the blue tile. And the blue tile was on the countertop, right?
And like on the side of it, right?
Yes, I think so. I think it was on the side and on the top. Yes. Okay, so there was blue tile. But the thing is, that movie, if you didn't think you were in a Christmas movie, if you walk into their house, that's it. You just knew. You just knew. Like, it could be like just a house there and you walk in and you feel like it's Christmas.
Christmas, yeah.
By the way, did anybody remember seeing a Christmas tree in that house?
I don't
No.
think until Kevin brought it in.
Yeah.
Right,
was-
there
Yeah,
wasn't one until Kevin
no.
cut it down.
Mhm.
Well,
I
they
guess-
weren't going to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but don't you put your Christmas tree up like before Christmas though?
Yes, yes.
I guess you would think
Well, they put up all the lights.
He's gone.
Yeah, but they are traveling, so maybe that's why they didn't do it, because it is a tree, you know.
But why
So
would you
maybe
put your
they're-
lights up with the windows open?
True.
Wait. But they were just putting up the tree at the uncle's house when they got there.
Yes, they were.
And that was Christmas Eve.
To continue so they have a tree wherever
Alright,
they
so-
go.
They all have, I feel like they all have some kind of time continuum like lapse in their brains. Like they don't know when they need to put their trees up. They don't really care
Multiverse.
because they're going to Paris. They're going to Paris. They're going to have a great time there. And poor Kevin, you leave it on the 7-year-old to cut a tree down. And first of all, that kid did a nice job. He cut the tree down. He decorated it. I see Morgan. Yeah, that's not too shabby.
Yeah.
All right. We get right into the psyche of Kevin now, right? You know, Kevin, put that thing away. Hang up the phone and make me. Why don't you? Like, I could already see the attitude on that little boy just steaming off of him, right? You kind of think like, oh, he's this cute little kid. He's not. He's the Reaper. Poor Marv and Harry, those guys, they picked the wrong house. They picked the wrong kid and the wrong house. They could have chosen all the other houses that were humongous on that street. Nuh-uh. So now they're in the bedroom and the dad of the year comes in and he's talking about a voltage adapter. And I know what a voltage adapter is now. Back then, I had no clue. I'm like, why? This movie might have been way ahead of its time. Is that like a power bank that we use now for our phones and stuff, or like a charger or a fuel rod? I think a voltage adapter is where you plug it in Paris, right? And it makes a regular plug. See, all of you are 10 times smarter than me. Yeah. Did I spell voltage? Oh, I didn't type voltage. Okay. So,
I didn't know what those were until I watched Just Married with Ashton Kutcher and Brittany Murphy, and they had that plugged into the wall.
Oh, I know
Yeah.
what you're talking
Oh,
about.
they needed one. Oh,
They
never
needed
mind.
one. That's right.
Yeah.
it's all Skidoo. All the movies are in our heads. I know they're all like combining. I get it. All right. So wait a minute. Right. So Kevin gets in trouble for making ornaments out of the old fish hooks. Like he got me out of the new fish hooks because the old one had worm guts on it. And, now this kid is in the garage with a glue gun, which, you know what? Those things really heat up good. And then you have the fish hooks. Ian's like, this kid is not playing with a full deck. He is not. So he's got the fish hooks. He's putting things on there. He was already he's a psychic also, because he was already creating booby traps in his head for these guys, Harry and Marv. Now, we move on, and then Kevin's aunt comes in, right? The dad takes Kevin and goes, here's a voltage adapter. He hands Kevin, like Kevin is like a feather. He hands Kevin to the aunt. The aunt holds him up for 3 seconds, like Arnold, like, okay, I put you down over here. Like she didn't even wince. When she was holding him, you saw like the muscles coming out of her arms. She's like, oh, and then she just dumps him down.
Mother love.
Right? Like the aunt was no joke. The aunt was no joke. So Kevin needs to pack his suitcase, right? That can't be bad. And
Dun, dun, dun.
I like Buzz's idea, toilet paper and water. Because really, do you need anything else besides toilet paper and water?
No.
I think that is probably...
Like 2020.
Look, Morgan knows she's moving soon.
Last year, that's what we needed.
I know. I was gonna say if COVID proved anything.
Yes.
We would have been prepared.
Maybe that was pre-COVID. Toilet paper. Buzz is all knowing. That family is a whole bunch of psychics. They all know what's going to be happening before the fact. And I want to point out, first of all, Buzz has a definite need for braces. All right, because he's got teeth going every which way. He's got them going every which way.
And I can afford the trip to France. Where are the braces? Because my parents couldn't afford braces. His parents could.
Oh, they were rich. Just the
They
house
don't like
alone.
him. They don't like that kid.
That was the favorite kid.
Skidoo, I like that you said that, because if you watch the movie back, like as many times as I've watched it, every time you see a hallway picture on like a mantle, it's Buzz by himself. There are 100 pictures of Buzz in that flippin' house, and it's all him. Like it's all selfie shots. Like all
five kids in that family. But Buzz.
Donna made a good point in the chat. She says, who allows their kid to pack for themselves?
And 8
True.
Absolutely.
true.
And thank you guys for people being here. Jeffrey, Donna Kennedy, all you guys, Coaster Mom, thanks for being here, guys. And absolutely, what mom does allow their kid to pack? Like
A lazy mom.
Crazy one.
It wasn't the mom that told him to go pack. It was the aunt that told him to go pack.
That's true.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
even crazier.
But the mom is just like, yeah, go ahead. I don't care. I'm too worried about my dangly earrings. All right. Now, not just that. So, all right. So now, Kevin goes into Buzz's room, and Buzz is like, oh, come on, let's go check out the South Bend Shovel Slayer. So they have their own little serial killer that lives on the street, and how just the kids know about it and nobody else, right? This guy hasn't been arrested. This guy is out there on the street with a big... one of those garbage cans that are made out of aluminum, right? It looks like an aluminum foil garbage can. He's dragging it down the street with one of those old school shovels that really don't do much. When you shovel with those kinds of shovels, the snow slides off it. It's really ridiculous. So he's shoveling with this shovel, right? And he puts the sand and puts the salt. Sorry, not sand. He puts the salt out there, and Buzz explains that he's the South Bend Shovel Slayer. He kills people, right? And then he puts their bodies in the salt because it turns them to mummies. So I'm not sure what kind of salt this guy is using. Wait, what's that?
This kid is horrible to be telling those stories.
He definitely is. But why wasn't his bag already packed the night before? I packed months in advance for my Disney trips and then unpack and repack repeatedly. Oh, I've packed 12 times already before my trip. So I get that. I totally get that. And Morgan is actually moving, so Morgan's probably packed and repacked, or just packed once and just said, you know what? The heck with it. Whatever gets there, gets there. Mom and Dad will send me the rest.
At this point, yes.
I haven't
Now-
started. I leave the 29th.
Oh, man. You guys got to start packing. Even if you don't
do it
have
the
a
night
date
before.
for a trip, even if you don't have a date for a trip, just start packing. It's fun. All right. So now you guys have the South Bend Shovel Slayer. He is, I'm going to go with my theory here. He's a superhero. He's got super hearing, because as they're talking about him, right, all of a sudden he's like, da-na-na-na, boo. He gives him the stink eye, right? He looks right at him. And all of a sudden they're like,
scary.
"Ooh." He knows. He hears everything. So that's how that's probably how he also knew to save them at the end. But Skidoo will get into that part. Skidoo's like, I will.
I'll
All
try.
right. Now, some of you might want to talk about this. Little Nero's Pizza pulls up with their 10 pizzas. That's 10 pizzas times $12, right? It comes to $122.50. They have 750 kids to eat 12 pizzas, right? Now, if you do the math, that is 80 slices, right? About 8 times 10, about 80 slices, maybe a little bit more, 90, and $122.50. Nowadays, you know that would be double that price. I don't know anybody who can get 10 pizzas for $122. I know here, a large pie is like $16, $17. So I don't know where it is like by you guys.
A large pie in pizza is like $22.
That'd be closer to $200.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
if there are any toppings, it's like $20.
Absolutely. So,
That's why you go to Little Caesar's Pizza. They're $5, but it's disgusting.
all right. Well, I've never
Yeah,
had
no,
Little
no.
Caesars.
Oh,
It's
don't.
one
You're
kind
not
I've
missing
never had.
anything. You're not missing anything.
All right. Well, the commercial with the one thick crust. I like a crunchy crust, so that looks all thick. I want to try it. But all right. Thank you, Skidoo. Skidoo, you know what? We're gonna have a Little Caesars party one day. Look, she's getting sick.
I actually
Look,
hate Pizza Hut too, so.
Oh, yeah, that's not real pizza to me. Domino's, Papa John's, Pizza Hut, those are not real pizza. They're just not in my book, at least. If you ask a little kid, forget it. Like, if it's not Domino's or Papa John's, they lose it. Like, oh, I want Domino's. I'm like, ew, that's just disgusting.
Ew.
Yes. Okay. So now, all the kids head to the kitchen. They're eating, right? This is the Brady Bunch moment because the mom's like, I want you guys to drink milk with your pizza. That's
Ugh.
disgusting. Milk with pizza does not, it's no way no. No way no. I will not be drinking milk with pizza. It has to be Coke. Has to be Coke. Some kind of carbonated beverage. No, thank you. No, thank you for. So in the Brady Bunch, they had a pitcher of milk that sat out for hours. That's disgusting. That probably curdled. All right, I just threw up in my mouth a little bit. Okay, so they had their pizza, right? And now this comes to a classic scene right now because Kevin wants his plain cheese, but who's Buff? But Buzz said, we ate it all, but I could barf, someone's going to have to barf it up. So Buzz goes into his old, Kevin, get a plate. Kevin loses it. This is why I think Kevin is not right and might need a little help. He goes, he pushes Buzz, right? The milk spills and goes onto the passports and the tickets. Now, here is the part that I saw. Now, the Pepsi turns over and spills onto Uncle Frank. Okay? The dad spills the Pepsi. Kevin doesn't spill the Pepsi. Kevin does the milk with Buzz. So the uncle yells at Kevin for no reason whatsoever because he's like, look what you did, you little jerk. And then the pops was like, uh-huh. And the whole family is standing there like the Sopranos, like looking at him.
Horrible. He's 8 years old. He's one of the smallest little kids in the house, and they all blame him.
Kevin was the smartest one because he's the only one to give Buzz what he deserves.
Yeah.
He's the only one good enough to
the
stand
one
up
to
for
save the
himself.
house.
Absolutely.
Oh, man.
Now,
I hate that part. I hate it.
yeah, but the best part about that part is poor Kieran Culkin, the brother, he gets the face to the chair treatment because he starts going and his face goes right up against that thing. Up, poor kid. He probably peed himself a little bit there. If he could pee that easily, a little bit of pee. He had a tinkle. He had a little tinkle time there.
Eat his pants.
All right, so the tickets. Kevin's ticket gets thrown away. But if you watch, and I was watching it really closely, if you watch when the dad picks up the ticket and the passports, he picks them up all in a napkin. And when he throws them away, it looks like the blue passport is in his hand at the moment, but then the ticket, and I'll show you what I mean.
It appears in the garbage.
It appears in the garbage, which is right here. No, that's the house. It's a dun, dun, dun. Where's my little picture of the? I had it before. It's
gone. Oh, there it is.
Okay, there it is. All right. So here we have a picture of Kevin's ticket.
Mhm.
thrown in the garbage. But when you see the dad pick it up,
Savage.
the passports are blue, and the passports look like they're right there in those napkins thrown away. Now,
He set Kevin up.
totally. I like that. I like that. So they're going to Paris, as we all know. They're going to Paris. Now, I know we talked about the job of Mr. McAllister, and as far as I know, Kate McAllister, she's like a seamstress because she has all those mannequins all over the house, right? She has the mannequins, which, first of all, a house with that many windows and mannequins.
Michael Jackson's house.
That's a house of horrors. I am not
Michael
even going to
Jackson's
go.
house.
Yes, I wouldn't even trick or treat at that house. That house, even if they give away the big candy bars, I'm not trick or treating there with all those windows and mannequins. All right, so she makes dresses, I'm thinking, and not the kind of dresses you find in Gucci or like Versace. She probably makes ones that you find in Sears or Talbot's or maybe Dress Barn. All right, so those are the dresses that she's making.
God.
What? That's what I'm thinking. But she's making a lot of money. They can afford to send this whole family. But I think the brother, it's not them affording it. The brother is actually paying for everyone to be together for the holidays, because that is mentioned in the movie.
Mhm.
That is mentioned. All right. Mom brings Kevin upstairs. All of a sudden, Kevin's all like, and this is another part where I think Kevin needs to, chill. Let's call it take a chill pill, because he's like, I hate families. Families stink. I'm going to live alone. Then Mom's like, listen, we'll talk about this tomorrow. And then he's like, I'm sorry. Right. And then when she says, she's like, all right, well, you got to go upstairs anyway. Well, families suck. Like, he just turns on a dime.
That
Like-
I'm sorry was not sincere, first of all, if you know any 8-year-old kid.
Because here's what happens. Kevin
I'm
goes,
sorry, this
I
is
don't
not
wanna
the
get
first
in
time he's
trouble.
been left alone. What
Yes.
if he's been left alone all the time? Then he has a right to be angry at them and hate them. And they favor
right.
Buzz.
yes, Skidoo, agreed. And what I was going to also say is Kevin is like Jekyll and Hyde. He goes from this Kevin to this Kevin real fast,
Crap.
right? He turns into that Kevin fast. You don't want to see him when he's angry.
Ugh, it grossed me out.
Hair just
Oh,
Looks
man.
like a skeleton.
All right. Yes, right. It's creepy. It's super creepy. I think I saw him actually on the corner in Trenton the other day. Okay. So
Oh my God.
that same guy, I think it was him. I'm not sure.
was he reaching
Okay.
in change buckets and trying to
Yes.
How did
you
he
know what?
react when you went up to him and said, "Ah!"
When you think about it, I think Kevin became karma is you know what, because he became a wet bandit. Look at him. He's all disheveled.
he's the sticky
He's got he puts the glove on. He looks like he's wearing the glove with the tape.
Whose
Him and
house
Harry
did
and
he
Marv.
break into?
I'm posting this theory on TikTok later. This is great.
All right, I like that. Thank you, Morgan. Okay. Now, the house that belongs in every single horror movie has a power outage. Every single thing is down. So back then, if it was now, the Wi-Fi goes down. Everyone would be on their phones like, I can't text. Where's the Wi-Fi? All the power is down. Not one person wakes up. Not one person is bothered by no electricity. And that's how easy it was back then. Right? Kevin's like, I wish they would all disappear. So here's another thing. Kevin, thinking in his head, goodbye, family. So, you know what? The next line is iconic to me. I know it's not, keep the change, you filthy animals, but the part where the guy's knocking on the door, those two little vans, those transit vans to take him to the airport, boom, boom, boom. And then, Peter, we slept in. And then they're running, and then you hear the Home Alone music, right? And then they're running around, throwing bags. They go into full panic mode because they have to get to the airport by a certain time. Now, Kevin's doppelganger, his little short friend that lives across the street, the nosiest, most curious, annoying kid in the world comes over, who wears the same hat as Kevin, by the way, comes over, and he starts questioning, does this car get good gas mileage? Are they going to France? And I don't know, kid, leave me alone. Like, people were not nice back in the day. Like, normally people would be like, I'm sorry, son, can you just not? No, he's like, well, come on, kid, what the heck do I know? I don't know, get out of here. You bother me. So, now, if you notice, that kid is looking at the camera. He's in the back while the sister's counting. And I don't know. I think he might have stolen the camera. I was watching him. He took a picture of something. I want to see the picture he took, by the way. And then the camera disappeared after that. So I think he might have taken it. That's just my theory. So we head to the airport. They're running through the crowd. Now they're running like OJ, man. They're flying through the crowd, jumping over things. The mom is like a super speedster. Buzz is like tearing butt. He's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. They get to this airport faster and through the airport and security faster than anyone in God's creation.
There was no security back then.
Well,
Oh,
yeah, I guess security was a
right.
little bit laxed.
You
back
go
then.
straight to your gate.
The very first time I was in the Chicago airport, I'm looking around, I was like, why does this look familiar? I'm like, because they really filmed in the Chicago airport.
Oh.
Oh, that's a cool tidbit.
Oh,
Oh.
wow. Okay, so that was really filmed there.
I believe, if I read that correctly, yes. So don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty. Then they did the set awesome, but I'm pretty sure. So don't
Okay.
quote me on it. I'll
All
look
right.
it up on Google.
All right, we won't quote you on it. Don't worry, Skidoo. Skidoo's like, I can't get copyrighted. No, please don't do it.
Pretty sure I read that somewhere. So, but it was funny because I was like, this looks exactly like the airport.
Right.
Home Alone.
Mhm.
Agreed. All right. Uncle Frank is on the plane
Okay.
now. They get everybody on the plane. Uncle Frank is already hitting the champagne. He's already getting lit. He's already ready to party, right? He doesn't care about his kids sitting in coach. Neither do the other parents. And the dad is like, they're having the time of their lives, right? No, they're not, because Kevin wakes up in the next scene with the worst bedhead I've ever seen in my life. That had to be a wig. It was like almost like what was his name? Garth from Wayne's World, right? That hair was just like a punk rocker hairdo when he woke up. So he wakes up, walks into a kitchen that is probably the cleanest looking kitchen I've ever seen after a night of 15,000 people eating
Mhm.
pizza, spilled milk,
Yep.
and you know, by the way, that the house is going to stink after a while from sour milk. They didn't clean it up correctly. You got sour milk, you got 15,000 probably paper plates and things shoved in the garbage, but that place was spotless. Spotless. So good job, Kate McAllister, for cleaning your kitchen, but not caring about your son's whereabouts.
Do you think they have a maid?
No.
You know what? I don't
They might.
think they do, but you never know. Maybe they. Oh, if they did though, that the maid would have shown up sometime, right? At some point, and Kevin probably would have known that.
Yeah.
Like the maid's
Yeah,
gonna be
true.
here. I'm good to go.
I
So-
looked it up and it was the actual airport.
Ah.
So it is true.
Okay. All right. So a tidbit from Sammy Skidoo. They actually filmed the airport scene at the
At the
airport.
And the Paris
All right.
airport, they filmed it at O'Hare.
At the first.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, so it was all filmed in Chicago.
Yep.
So wait, what about the Paris airport scene? Is that still the same?
No, that
airport?
was in the Chicago
In
airport.
Chicago.
That still was. Okay.
Yeah,
That's cool.
That's cool.
I didn't know that one. I just read that.
All right. All right. Skidoo's throwing it down here, guys. All right. Now, Kevin puts on the VCR combo TV, which I used to have one of those. Those things
So
were
cool.
the worst. It was like a 9-inch screen, right? And you had to actually push it in there and press the tape down. For those of us that know what VHS is, oh man. Morgan, do you know what VHS? Poor Morgan's like, yes.
Yes, I know what VHS is.
It's that
Not
thing
that
you do,
young.
right? It's that thing you.
Yes,
it looks like
it's
it looks
the
like an audio
thing.
cassette.
Be kind, rewind.
Yes, I worked at West Coast Video. I know that pain. Okay,
Oh, goodness.
so now he puts on Miracle on 34th Street, which is another one of my favorite movies. This is the black and white version with Edmund Gwynn and Maureen O'Hara. That's just one of my favorite movies for Christmas time. And if you guys notice, there is only one knife in the knife block on the counter. I picked that up. So where did all those knives go? They weren't cutting pizza with it, you know that. Something is going on. Kevin is setting it all up. He already knows that Harry and Marv are on their way. Psychically, he's got knives set up. You guys know what happens at the end, and we'll find out more from Skidoo. But I thought it was weird to have a knife block on your counter with one knife in it. That's like horror movie central,
This is what was going on.
Oh, do you-
right?
He was planning overnight how to get rid of his family.
He was
Oh,
like,
Jesus!
Ian,
It's
I
a
love the
knife to a
theory.
family member.
That's why he slept
Oh, Buzz
in.
deserved it. And so did his parents.
Yeah.
What if he was thinking about getting rid of Buzz? That was like he's thinking up ideas.
Oh
He
man.
needs a couple of knives.
Out of
Gotta
You
get
know
back
what?
up.
Kevin drew up, and this is a fact, guys. He actually, Macaulay Culkin actually drew that picture of the battle plan.
Oh,
So
that's right.
imagine if Kevin drew up like a whole little like mousetrap kind of game where it's almost like an escape room where all the parents' knives are falling. You know what? If that kid was my brother, I think I might move out. Okay, so now listen to this, right? Kevin, they leave the bedroom a pigsty. That whole house is clean except for the bedroom. Now, I don't know how, like I said, I don't know how they get that kitchen that clean. They have underwear hanging from the rafters. They have wrapping paper out. The bed's not made. A kitchen, you can eat off the floor, but your underwear is hanging. If you guys watch the movie, you'll see what I'm talking about in the mom and dad's bedroom.
Yeah, in the
Well,
dresser.
that makes sense because they were ready in the morning, so they probably cleaned the house and then messed up the rooms when they were rushing to leave.
Rushing to leave.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't remember if Buzz's room was a major mess. It was after Kevin got through with it. But
See, if
It
they had
was-
a maid, the maid would have gone in and cleaned and found that Kevin was alone.
I know.
yeah, but you know what? Maybe that's where the knives went. Kevin he whacked the maid.
Oh,
Kevin whacked the
Jesus.
maid
That's
already.
why the kitchen's so clean.
Yes, he
He
had,
had
to
to get
clean
rid
it
of
up
the
with
evidence.
Clorox. He has the Clorox bleach on the counter in the
It's
background.
a black light.
It all
Okay.
happened in the kitchen.
It did. This part is where we learn that Buzz is actually into voodoo and witchcraft. Because if you look at his lights, I see Skidoo's like, oh God. If you look at Buzz's light switch panel, it's a chupacabra. For those of you that know what that is, he's got a chupacabra on the light switch panel. It's this voodoo thing that's looking at you. Buzz is not right in the head. This whole family's got issues, man. This whole family.
Oh my God.
All right, Kevin goes down into the basement. There's a noose, okay, where you hang people hanging from one of the studs. I don't know if anybody picked up on that. So in the basement, there's a noose hanging there. I know, Kevin set this up.
I
He
feel
was
like
going
this
to
is
take
Texas
everyone
Chainsaw
out.
Massacre now.
Oh my God. I'm going to watch this movie with totally different eyes.
Look at Jessie. She's laughing. She goes, I got to see this noose.
I gotta
Pull it up.
I've never seen a noose down there.
Yes, it's hanging from one of the studs.
I
So
want to grab my
Harry and
phone and look at
Marv,
Disney Plus.
Harry and Marv totally picked the wrong house, especially now. First, there's mannequins down there. I wouldn't go down there as a grown man with mannequins down there. Are you crazy? Those
that's
things,
creepy.
those things will move. Your mind will make them move, even if they don't. Like I'll look. Oh, I would see that out of the corner of my eye. I would piss and probably something else myself. All right, we have more underwear in the basement hanging from the drying rack, and wait. It gets even worse and more sinister. There's a wheelchair hanging from the ceiling. Does anybody pick up on that?
Yes. Yes, there
Right,
is a
there's
wheelchair.
a wheelchair.
An
Kevin
old
is preparing to keep probably the maid or Buzz in a wheelchair like the movie Misery. Gonna walk Buzz around. Hey, kid. He's gonna take him all around the house. Oh, man. For those of you that know the movie Misery, if you haven't,
I'm not
check
going
it
to
out.
enjoy Home Alone that much anymore.
Okay.
No, it's a scary movie.
And after Kevin has a little run-in with Mr. Furnace, and by the way, this furnace could heat the whole neighborhood. All the pipes coming off of this furnace, you could honestly heat a stadium, a football stadium, with all the way that furnace was. Now he runs upstairs after the furnace. Kevin McAllister, right? He runs upstairs, runs outside. And guys, I know that you're loving this. I'm loving it. Harumi, it is now your turn to take it away.
Jeez, I don't think I'm going to give this part justice. But okay. All right, so he runs outside to go see if mom and dad left to the airport, and he sees the two cars, right? First
Damn it,
off,
they're still there. Oh,
huge house. Oh. Oh, harsh. They're still there. But what I'm seeing here is huge house, loads of money, flying to Paris for Christmas, and yet they have two ugly station wagons in the garage.
And one of them looks like the Griswold family truckster. The left one is the Griswold family truckster if you look at it.
I'm like, wow, like
it's 'cause they-
seriously, all the money, huge house, all this loot, they're gonna get their house is potentially going to get robbed, and they have the two cheapest cars of the whole neighborhood.
They're rolling in
That's
hoopies.
And so then Kevin goes back, and of course another iconic line in the movie. I made my family disappear. Oh yeah, this is my favorite part. I think this is every kid's dream at one point or another. If you have siblings, if you have a big family and they're all stuck in your house, it's like you have the whole house to yourself. Go, Kevin, go at it, jumping on the bed, eating popcorn, eating junk food, eating snacks, and then off into his brother's room. And this brother has so much stuff in this room that no kid should have. Firecrackers, but these are like lethal firecrackers. A gun, money, extra money, porn, like
Yeah. Oh, porn. Yeah.
oh my
No.
god. Anyway, but yeah, treasure.
She's like,
I don't
anyway,
feel so-
let's get off of that.
I don't feel so bad. I said a bad word now.
treasure trove of stuff that is all going to come into Kevin's benefit. So
He's training his
go-
son to be a hitman.
Oh,
There was
there you
hitman
go.
in his family.
Harumi,
Proved it.
Harumi, can I jump in on something? Okay, so she's talking about, Kevin, he opens up Buzz's treasure trove.
Treasure.
Inside there is something by Frito-Lay called Crunch Taters. I want to taste Crunch Taters.
I do too.
You know what I'm talking about, Jessie
Yeah,
Lee?
I
That
don't
bag?
eat that, but that sounds amazing.
And that's
Yes.
the same. And that's the same chips that go through the movie because he's
Yes.
always munching on. What are they called? Crunch taters.
Crunch Taters.
Taters. I want to try them too.
And they're by Frito-Lay. So they're legit.
They had to exist. Okay, we definitely
Yeah.
have to Google that.
Did.
But,
Oh my god!
there you go. Oh my god. Okay,
I
so
thought, are they real? Like, can you get them now?
They were discontinued.
Oh.
so they did exist. Okay, so
They did exist though, yes.
Well, they were not made popular by this
They
movie.
do exist. That's right.
That is actually like a advertisement that they had
Oh,
for it.
jeez.
That-
There you go. Crunch taters.
Okay. I
All
want
right, so the first thing Kevin goes in, looks through all the things, gets the firecrackers. I'm gonna save these for later. There you go, planning again. And then he sees the gun. Now, out of well, I haven't seen any 8-year-old shoot a gun, but this kid got some aim. He got total aim to have these little tiny figures standing right on the laundry chute and pow, 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 all the way down, and plus the spatula. How can you hit a spatula? I don't know. I'm not good at that. But kid has aim, so you know what's coming.
Yep.
And one of my favorite scenes is when he watches that movie. What
Angels
does he
in
say?
the outfield.
Mom, Dad, I'm eating junk food and watching rubbish.
Rubbish, yes.
So they're English now. Rubbish.
Yep.
And eating the ice cream. This kid does not get stomach aches, does not
Nope.
get,
He's not
sick.
lactose intolerant, I'll tell you
No,
that much.
he's
I,
not.
I was just about to say that because they're drinking milk with cheese pizza.
Ugh.
Yes.
That is
Milk,
just
cheese
one.
pizza, ice cream, and crunch
taters.
Crunch
Yeah.
taters. So they're eating so much freaking junk food, so much junk food. And this
Well,
is
why
the
do you
one
think
moment.
Buz's teeth are all over the place?
Ooh.
Yes.
So much of that junk food.
and this is the one part where he gets so scared and he calls out for his mom watching this one little movie and that one little scene, but yet I guess he keeps on watching it again and again and again and gets immune to it because we'll see that later on.
Yes.
So Kevin gets scared and then all of a sudden the mom is like, we forgot something. After morning, afternoon, evening, first class, a few glasses of champagne, no going back there to see the kids and coach at all.
Nope. Didn't check on them.
Did not get up from her seat to go see, let me make sure that the kids are okay. How you doing, kids? None of that. So then all of a sudden, oh my God, my mommy says it's tingling. And something's wrong. We forgot to close the garage. No, that's not it. What did we forget? Kevin! Love that part. Love it. Kevin! Iconic. And classic. But, so Kevin, and the next scene is, of course, Kevin trying to get hurt because he takes out his toboggan, the sled, and he's aiming it outside the door. But there is no way no way that sled points outside to that door.
Nope, that
It
trajectory
points
went
straight
into the wall.
to the wall. Okay, there is no way he can get all the way out and have that lift at the end. It's just amazing that well, first of all, if it was true, that's where the movie would have ended because he would have been severely hurt. Okay? So there would have been any more movie, but
His house definitely would have been robbed then.
Yep.
Yep, because door wide open, Kevin dead on the front foyer, and hurt badly.
Very badly.
But no, he goes down those stairs, and this is like the great. They should make a roller coaster out of Home Alone. Down the stairs, out the door, flies at an upward trajectory,
Yep.
land into snow, and all he has out of this, all he does is go.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you go back and do a little research on this, they actually took a real toboggan, and I don't know who calls it toboggan. Anyway, they took a sled, right? They took this sled and they actually tested it with some crash test dummies on there, and they don't have video of it, but they said in an article I read that thing trying to get it at the trajectory would hit the wall 9 times out of 10, and like the crash test dummy was like totally mangled every time it hit.
He was supposed to die there. Like, this was it. This was the end of the movie right there.
The movie was only supposed to be 40 minutes long, guys.
Yeah, that's it. And
if the robbers come across a dead child in the house, they probably would have gotten out of there real quick.
Oh, that would have saved the house too.
Ghost would have scared him out.
Yeah. Anyway, after this, we are introduced to the Wet Bandits. So the Wet Bandits come along, and Harry has a lot of knowledge. I think Harry is one of those guys. How do they call it? No.
Go ahead.
A guy,
jack of all
trades, master of none,
None.
because he knows a little bit of everything. He knows when the lights
Uh-oh.
go on. Morgan, we lost Morgan. When the lights go on each
It's
house.
Kevin. He's taking each of us one at a time with his knives.
Oh dear God! No, this is not funny.
Who's that behind you, Gary?
No, that's not funny.
Yeah.
That's not funny at all. That's why I switched the camera. No. But he knows a lot about things that are
Just
going on.
open the
But
door behind her.
they decide to hit the house. Let's get the house. And all of a sudden, Kevin hears footsteps or whatever jiggling at the door, and all of a sudden turn on all the lights, right? And they get scared away. And what happens to Kevin? He goes under the bed and he hides there. Meanwhile, airplane mom lands in the airport, gets all crazy. You go call a whole bunch of people with a whole bunch of change, and I'm gonna call somebody through this phone, and lady, shoo. If I would have been that lady, I would be like, yo, what the hell? Right? But no, she shoos the lady away, and I like that part. Hello? All right, she'll have to call you back later. Click.
Yeah, and there's international codes you have to know to call the United States. These kids are gonna do that, like 0, 1, no. Like these. First of all,
011, right?
I guess. But first of all, I think she robbed like a parking meter outside of the airport because she has changed like for years. She piles quarters into these kids' hands. Like it's ridiculous. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry, Gary.
Then it just irritates me so much. And again, this is another point where the movie could have been over. Right here with this police.
Yep.
Police that are totally useless. It's going back and forth. They transfer her from one room to the next and back to the other room and to the next. And this guy, is the kid in danger, and has he suffered any injuries or anything? No, like, I'm calling you because I want you to go check on my kid. Of course, my kid is home alone. But, no, then you need family services. Oh, here. You take care of this call. Back and forth, and at the end, oh, yes, lady. So all you want us to do is to send an officer to the house to check on your kid, right? Yeah. Like, just check on the kid. Then Kevin is scared out of his wits under the parents' bed. Police come in, and this is really sickening. If you know that there's a child inside of a house all by themselves, all right? It's a huge house. And I don't know. I don't remember, but I don't think he was ringing the doorbell. He was knocking on the door. Okay? Huge house, knocking on the door. The kid is probably in his room crying or crawled in, it's a little ball in a corner of the house all by himself. But he's knocking on the door. And then, oh God, this irritates me. As a mom, it irritates me. He calls in and he's like, there's no one in the house. Tell the lady to count her kids again.
Who does that?
The mother is telling you that the kid is there. Like, anyway, worst police ever. Worst police. Back in the airport, mom tries to get a flight. No, you guys go back to the house, enjoy Christmas and enjoy food. I'm going to try to get a flight out. No flights coming out. It's Christmas Eve. But then all of a sudden, you know, mom is like, I gotta get back home. This is where she wins her Mom of the Year award, right? And next scene, Kevin, a very classic scene. Kevin is in the bathroom, and he's, I think, the first kid who ever did a vlog, because he's in front of the mirror talking to an audience, telling them everything he's cleaned on his body, in between his toes and inside his belly button. and I think every kid nowadays does that, right? You know, like, hey guys, it's me again. And that's what Kevin was doing there. But of course, the classic and iconic scene of, you know, everything is perfectly fine, and what does he say? Everything is okay except for that he's missing his toothbrush, right? And he puts the thing. Classic scene. I love it. And well, he has to go shopping. He goes back into his brother's room because that's the room of all the treasures, the room that has everything he needs to protect himself in the house. And he tries to climb those shelves. And oh my God, this is the scary part. Not only does he fall from these shelves, but he should have been dead. Once again, this is another part where the movie should have been over, because all those shelves fall on top of him. And when he gets out, there's a shelf that is crushing his head down to the floor. And of course, the tarantula is out. So,
No way.
You don't mess with a shelf that has a freaking, like, you know, like a tarantula this size. No, you just...
You do not.
So, what does he take from there? He takes money. And from what I remember looking at that part, it's like $1 or $2.
Yeah, it's like...
But yeah, he can make a whole freaking grocery trip.
Yes.
Don't get me started with the groceries, but anyway. So then the Wet Bandits are stealing, or taking loot from another house. They hear that the parents are in, the whole family, they are in Paris. And then Kevin goes to the store, and the first store that he goes to is to buy that toothbrush. Now, what 8-year-old do you know is going to ask if a toothbrush has been approved by the American Dental Association? No kid wants to brush his teeth at 8 years old. I still have to tell mine to go brush her teeth at 10. So,
Mom, I can see her nanny saying that.
Smartest one.
Yeah, it's like, has this toothbrush been approved by the American Dental Association?
And if you watch the subtitles, the guy comes over and the guy's like, yeah, I don't know. And then there's a part where the guy goes, just tell him it is. The guy wants to lie to the kid. He just tell him.
Well, I can't remember in 1990, but nowadays you just flip that thing over and it has ADA right in the back. So yeah, it is. Everything is approved by.
I've never ever worried about if there's a toothbrush out there, I'm gonna use it. I don't care about ADA. If it's got bristles, if there's bristles and a stick, I'm gonna use it.
I just want to make sure that it's pink or purple. So.
Oh yeah. Same.
Yeah, it has to be pink or purple because that's my toothbrush. All right. Anyway, but then the scary guy comes back. Now, why are you going to walk up to a kid with a bloody hand and go pack?
Dun, 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 dun.
Okay, well, I would run too. So Kevin, please run. Run with all your life. Run away from this man because he's wacko. And running across... slides across ice, which once again doesn't bump into anything. Like, this is just a remarkable kid with such good luck. That's what he is. And it's the same cop that knocked on the door the night before that tries to get him.
I didn't know that.
Did you notice that?
I didn't catch that one.
Cop. It's the same dude that is useless because he can't catch an 8-year-old kid sliding across ice.
No,
so
he cannot.
All right, so Kevin starts running away. And of course that scene ends with, oh man, I'm a criminal.
Yep.
Hey, why did he run away from that guy, but he didn't run away from the burglars? He made his whole house like a an obstacle course, but why
Well-
did he just run away?
Well, that's where
They didn't have the tools.
No, he booby trapped this whole house. But
Yeah.
remember, at a certain point, you know what? I'm the man of the house. That's
Yeah,
it.
he's got to protect his house. He can't even. Don't get me started on him. All right, I have my
Anyway.
say.
I will take it and pass it along to Morgan.
All right, Morgan.
Okay. All right, so the scene cuts, and we see that Marv is filling up a sink with towels and turns on the faucet. And he starts doing this like really weird giggle, and it like makes me really uncomfortable. I do not like that whatsoever. And he just leaves the kitchen, and the kitchen looks like an absolute mess, by the way. Like, at least have some, like, I know he's stealing, but like have some decency. Like, come on, you can pick up a
Straighten
little,
up.
like, you left it a
Clean up a
mess.
little.
Like,
He doesn't get
Dust.
stuff into his bag. Did you notice that? Oh, yeah, that was
Yeah.
it. Where they just go crank and nothing falls into the bag.
yes. I was like, are you okay? So then he walks out the door with his little goth Santa sack or ghetto Santa sack. I don't know what that is. It looks like
Goth
Santa
Santa
sack. But and he throws it into the car, this creepy van. And
Most
first of all,
unsanitary conditions in that van
so
I've ever
gross. The van is literally just they're hoarders. They have to be hoarders. Like, I know they rob places, but at least go put it somewhere. Like, we don't
And
even know
snow
where
globes.
they put it.
They keep snow globes.
Yes.
Stuff
And
with gum.
Marv is laughing when he gets in the car and in the van, and Harry's like, "Oh my god, why are you laughing?" And while he's talking to him, we see Marv take a piece of gum out of his mouth, stick it to the bottom of the snow globe, and stick it onto the dash. And I threw up a little in my mouth when I saw that. That was it. Yes, it is. That was disgusting. That gum, your mouth is disgusting. Oh my. Oh, okay. So he asked him, "What's so funny?" And he says, "You did it again, didn't you?" And he's like, "Yeah, I did." And I like to call it like, ooh,
It's
That's
storming here. Bad. Yeah, it's really storming.
that does not
here.
sound good at all. Okay.
I'm good. Hey, guys, if I go black, you guys got the show. Keep going.
Okay. Oh my gosh, that thunder did not sound good. I call it like the towel party trick or a sink party trick. And he's telling him that he's sick. Like, why are you doing that? And he says that, oh my god, where is the quote? I literally quoted it. Ooh. He says that they have to have something like that makes them stand out, like it's their card or whatever. And he said, "This is ours. Like, we're the Wet Bandits."
For calling card, yeah.
Yeah, what? That's a terrible name, by the way. Never call anything Wet Bandits. That's just so bad. And then after he's done, telling him that he's sick and that he's whatever, they're driving off. And we switch back to Kevin, and he's walking down the street, and we see them driving down the driveway or whatever, and they almost hit Kevin. And Kevin does his weird little scream, which is delayed, by the way. He's staring at the car, and then he goes,
Yeah.
Like it's been like 5 seconds. Why are you now screaming? I just looked at the hand that wasn't the watch. Anyway, so then he walks away.
Real quick about that scene where he almost gets hit by the car. That was filmed in reverse.
In reverse, yes.
They didn't
So it
drop
started off like this,
Like this.
and then they pulled it back, yeah, and played it forward. Yeah,
Oh,
That's
They could-
cool.
they couldn't risk hitting him.
yeah, right.
Well, the movie would be over.
Yep, there you go.
Another.
We'll have to use that stunt man.
Yeah. This
Now
is
I'm
then-
curious. I'm gonna go watch and see if I can see that 30-year-old stuntman.
I know. So Kevin walks away, and he does he's like wobbling, like as if he got hit by the car. He wasn't
Yes.
impaled, like he just kind of is like wobbling, and he looks almost like he's intoxicated. To be honest, yeah. Like I'm like, oh, what did he had a little too much fun the night
Yes,
before.
the
All that
mouthwash.
milk.
Exactly.
Yeah. There you go, the mouthwash. That's what it is. So, so Harry then tells Kevin to look out for traffic, and Marv's like, Santa doesn't visit funeral homes, which, by the way, never tell a child that. That is great, wonderful. And then he notices the gold tooth on Harry,
Yes.
and he gets kind of freaked out by it. And he says, well, that's when he's saying Merry Christmas. Kevin runs off, and Harry's like, I don't like him. Why is he running away? And he's questioning why he's running. I would run away if there was a creepy van following me. two guys who look very suspicious, by the way. They don't even look at all remotely nice. And of course he's running away. Why question why he's running? If anything, that's what a smart kid should do. Yeah, instead of making booby traps and trapping them in their house.
Ran away that time.
Yes. So then he's running down the street. They're still following him, which just give up. And he goes to a nativity scene and he goes hide in there. And the Marv and Harry are like, oh, we're not going in there. And they're probably not going to go in there because they're afraid that they're going to burn up or something. In the church.
Exactly.
And, and so we see Kevin. He has like a little blanket on. Looks like a little homeless man or like something, you know. He's just hiding over there. And
he's talking about the nativity scene. He's a homeless. She's calling Jesus homeless. He was
little kid.
Wow.
Yes.
God just went somewhere. I don't know.
So when he gets up, he walks away and he's like, when those guys come back, I'll be ready. He's like, I have my ideas, and you know he's been plotting this for who knows how long, probably months, years. What if he started this like as soon as he could talk? Who knows? So we see Kevin running again, and I'm pretty sure he likes running, to be honest. He should be a track star. This kid runs a lot. When I was 8, I did not want to run. So what is this?
With his little woolly mittens. He has those mittens attached to his jacket.
He does this little run too. Yeah, exactly. Like he runs like so weird.
Like a Roblox character. He's like,
yeah. This whole movie is based on running.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. So then we change scenes and we see Kevin's house and we see a party is happening, and we're hearing rocking around the Christmas tree. We're seeing all these people hanging out in the house dancing, and we see Marv and Harry pull up, and they're just like, they were gone yesterday. What is this? How are there people in the house? And we go and cut scenes again. We see inside, and we see all the mannequins and Kevin doing his little dance with all the ropes, which looks like if you like the workout where you use the ropes and stuff. That's exactly what it looks like. Yeah, and
that's what Michael Jackson did with all the mannequins. Must have been a party every night like that.
Yes. So he's just having his fun with all the mannequins. I mean, I don't even know why you would bring those up, to be honest. What is that? Why would you bring those out of the base? I would leave those in the base. Oh my god. And he basically made his own carousel of progress, to be honest. They're like their own animatronics. Like,
yes, he did. You're right. That's awesome.
So he's doing his little dance, and then the scene switches again to Kevin's family. And actually, first, sorry, I skipped something. They said that they'll come back later. So they're like, oh, we'll just come back later when they're not here. Because apparently they just really want to hit this house because obviously they have so many windows. They're like, easy target. Like, look at that house.
With that many windows, you must be rich.
Exactly, yes.
And they're unlocked.
Yes. Yes. And so the scene switches. We go to Kevin's family, and we're in the apartment now. And the dad's trying to speak French on the phone. Terrible French. I don't speak French, but absolutely terrible. And Buzz starts saying that there's 3 reasons why he doesn't care if he's okay. The sister's kind of freaking out. Like, what if he's young? What if he's not okay? He's kind of having those moments. And but Buzz, I think he doesn't know how to count or read or anything because he goes 3 reasons. A to D.
Yeah, I love it. I love that line. That is the greatest thing ever.
I've never noticed that.
He may be the favorite, but I don't think he got a good education. I think his parents did all his homework, to be honest.
Raising him to be a hitman, you don't need to be school smart for that. Yeah,
I mean, you're right. And so then the scene cuts again, and we see first Buzz says that nothing bad ever happens there. Like he's like, whatever. It's the lamest town, whatever. Scene switches, and we see a speeding car, and it hits the statue or like a little thing that they have in front of their house. And we see Pizza Boy, and Pizza Boy, he's still dumb. He's blonde, so he has like blonde moments, and he's just he's not there all the way. And this is where we get the iconic TV scene, and he is such a dope. You're correct. And he tells him to leave it on the porch. He uses the TV and the show.
Get the hell out of here.
Yes, and he's tells him to leave it on there, and he tells, keep the change, you filthy animal. And then he starts counting again, and this is where numbers come back into effect. They don't like numbers in this movie. He said 1, 2, 10.
10. Yep.
You just skipped a whole bunch right there. And of course, dumb little pizza boy runs off. He's all freaked out. He's like, "Oh my gosh, this is terrible."
He made more
falls
than John Candy did on his paycheck.
Really?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Really?
John Candy made like $300 or something for the day or something like that.
And he improvised. Wow.
And
The pizza boy
there's
made more
scary-
money.
That is insane. And then
Little
there's
Nero.
there's scary laughter again. And this is where I think this movie is more like a horror movie than it is a Christmas. There's so much laughter that's like terrifying. Like the giggles and like the little Why? Why can we not just be like like all like innocent and cute? But
No,
whatever.
it's got to be menacing.
No, it's got to be menacing. And so everyone just sucks at driving in that town or just in this movie in general.
Yes,
because
with the
Pizza
statue.
Boy can't get and he can't get out and just one big mess. And we cut scenes again, and Kevin's mom is in the airport, and she's trying to figure out how to get back. And she's willing to give up her first class seat, her ring,
Her
which I'm pretty
firstborn
sure,
child and
yeah, her
You should have
watch,
given that one up.
$500.
No, she's
her
not giving
earrings.
both up.
Yeah, no, her earrings, and
I'll
she's
give up
just listing
Kevin the
all
one I
these
don't have.
things. Oh my goodness. And she's listing all these things to this woman.
Yep.
Which, by the way, why not just lead with the whole like, oh, it's for my child. He's 8 and I just need to get home. Lead with that instead of here, take my ring that my husband probably worked very hard to get. Because, again, we don't know what his
Edmund, no.
occupation is. So,
Or Uncle Frank stole
She has 2 rings, and she goes,
yes.
this ring.
it.
Yeah, like as if like to like, yeah. And then, of course, the earrings, stupid earrings.
The long dangling
And,
ones.
Dangly earrings.
yes, and the scene cuts again, and we see Kevin in bed, and he's watching TV, and he starts saying goodnight to a picture of Buzz and his family, and he's like, "I'm sorry, I won't be annoying, I won't be a kid, and like a baby or whatever," and he's just telling them goodnight, and it's like kind of almost like foreshadowing because he's like growing up. That's like his moment of like, hey, he's growing up, he's realizing that I'm alone. I need to like kind of mature a little bit.
I kind of
and,
call this, Morgan, the hand to God moment. It's where you put your hand to God and say, please, I will never do anything bad again if you make my mom come back.
Yes.
You know?
So next morning he puts on the aftershave again and screams that terrible scream again. And oh my god, they're so delayed too. He just like it's just so much.
Does that hurt? Guys, this is to the men. When you push
After you shave it, it stings a little bit, but not before it.
Okay, but like to a little kid, would that go through his skin and hurt?
I
For him to
don't know.
scream like that?
Unless he was actually shaving, I would think, and like he had open cuts.
I don't know.
I
That thing must
don't-
be pure alcohol.
Yeah, like they're.
It was
Oh my
just
gosh.
hydrogen peroxide. That's what it was. They
That's
used
all.
good stuff in the house.
Oh, probably.
His skin should have started smoking, and then he runs out. That'd have been great.
It's like the Crypt Keeper, like
Yes.
That would make it a horror movie, and that's like where we get the plot. You know. That's
I think we're kind of turning it into that. So
Yeah, I
at
think
this
so.
point, yes. So Kevin goes to the store, and apparently he's becoming a couponer because he's like, I have a coupon in the paper, and he's like,
Yes.
here you go, and gives it. And this cashier's all creepy. Where's your parents? Where's your mom? Where's your siblings? Oh, I'm an only child. Where do you live? Why do you want to know where this child lives? They need a creepy cashier. I would run if that cashier was. Which, by the way, bring me back to like the toothbrush thing. Like the scene before. Why not just leave the toothbrush behind? Like he was like so persistent about holding on to that toothbrush, and then he's like, I'm a criminal. Well, you wouldn't be if you just just tossed it away, put it into you ran next to some water, here you go, toss it away. Now you're not a criminal, now you're just a kid that ran out of the store.
Yep.
So
Yeah, but when you get scared, you hold on to whatever is in your hand.
that is true.
Yeah.
I've done that. I was falling, and instead of just letting go of the little lint chocolate that I had, I like held it up in the air so I didn't drop.
You saved your chocolate, but that's chocolate though. That's not a toothbrush.
Apparently, it was the
Yeah.
most graceful fall ever.
Well, you hold the objects and you let the fluids go. Because I'll tell you right now, boom, soap. All right, I'm good.
I had one in my pocket too, so I'm like trying to save both of them, and we had a mountain full of them at work. So it's like I couldn't have just gone back and got some.
All right, so he walks home, bags break, Absolutely terrible. I've had that happen before, and I was so embarrassed. I
The
was like,
worst shopping
okay.
bags ever in God's
Oh,
creation.
terrible.
Wait. But he's holding double bagged two shopping bags. But yet in there he has milk, orange juice, and laundry
fabric
detergent.
softener, yeah.
Like, who here can carry laundry detergent in a bag with a whole bunch of other stuff? I'm like, I can't even hold it, just the detergent alone. So, yeah.
The cashier was doing something. Like, she wanted him to slow down so she could, like, catch up and, like, where do you live, little boy, or something, because
Want some
there's a reason
candy?
behind that. Yes, exactly. That little chocolate that you had in your pocket, she's going to be giving it to Kevin.
Good Lord, Morgan.
So we go back to the house. He's doing his own laundry.
You're making the Wet Bandits sound tame now. I don't care about being, kidnapping a kid. That's okay. But Wet Bandits, no.
Yeah, no, not at all. They're
No
they're
big
fine.
deal.
They're just stealing stuff. It's
Yeah.
not like they're kidnapping him or anything.
Or
So we
biting
see him
his
doing
fingers
his
off.
own laundry. And personally, at 8 years old, I was not doing my own laundry. I didn't even
No
understand how
way.
it worked.
Exactly.
Like, I was like, what is that? Like, why is there water? Yeah, no idea.
This
So
is a
mother must
prized
be very
child.
proud. Yeah, like he must be. I mean, I guess he has a lot of siblings to watch and be like, okay, I get it. Like, I can see what you're doing. And then the furnace starts talking again.
Yep.
And this time he just looks at it and he's like, shut up. Like, he's like, whatever. You're not even
Yep.
scared. I'm a big kid now. And it's like the way of saying, like, oh, look, I'm old now. I'm like 8.5. 8,
Oh yeah,
you know,
he really aged through the movie from the beginning of the movie to this
yeah.
point now. Yeah,
Yeah.
8
he's
3/4.
he's a
Exactly,
tween now.
Yes.
Well, he's
yes.
the adult
Like,
of the family. He's
The man of
responsible
the
one.
house. There you go.
Yes, he could do, couponing now, and he's telling the furnace to shut up, doing his own laundry. He could basically live on his own by now and just go.
At this point, yeah.
Yeah, at this point, he'll be
He
fine.
is.
Yeah, he'll be fine. And then we see that beautiful, creepy van again, and Marv goes and checks out Kevin's house, and they're like, okay, let's go check if they're home. And so he goes in there and starts checking it out, and he drops his shoe through the doggy door, which, by the way, anyone else have doggy doors in their house or like have like at least one? They have plastic on them. Am I the only one that doesn't? Like, don't they usually have a plastic or something hard so you can't just stick your foot through it or stick your head through it?
I don't know.
Like,
I don't know. I've never had a doggy door.
that's another thing where it's like the windows, and then here we are with this doggy door where literally you could just stick your head through it or your arm and just unlock the door just like that. Like,
Yeah.
if anything, they need to put a cover on it or something. That's just one big. And I didn't see a dog
They
at all.
don't have a dog.
Yes, they don't have a dog. So why is there a dog?
The
It's
maid
for the
took him
spider.
home to watch it.
Yes, it's for the spider. You're right. The
That's where
tarantula
some of
needs
the
to go
knives
through.
went.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
but
Tarantula
good,
needs to be
fine.
walked.
So then we see Kevin get prepared. He's like, "Oh, okay." He's doing dishes. By the way, his mother must be so proud of him if she was seeing this. Like dishes, laundry. 8 years old,
Yeah.
and oh my gosh. So he gets prepared and he grabs this little pot and then the firecrackers from Buzz's room and a lighter, and he turns on the TV, gets ready for the scene, and Marv's just listening. He's like, "Oh my God, there's like other people inside. This is insane!" And all of a sudden, the firecrackers start going off, and it scares the crap out of him. He's like, "Oh my gosh, someone else is inside."
But the thing is, Morgan, with that scene, I feel like that little TV is not throwing off enough sound. He must have gone to Best Buy and gotten that huge theater system, because that little TV is going to be crackling even if you jacked it up to like 35 on the sound. Like, it's not going to sound real.
No, but he had those huge speakers that, back in the day that our parents had, my parents had, those huge speakers with the big, like, console that had the LP player, the two cassette tapes, right? And that's what he hooked up to that little screen.
Yes. Yeah.
Did they even have
That is
Best Buy
literally-
back then?
I don't think Buzz's head would have fit through there with that hairdo, with that high top fade.
Not at all. Oh my goodness. But yeah, like, I was thinking about that. The TVs are so tiny. How do they even have that much sound? Like, I feel like that wasn't, and like all the way from the van too. Like, it was like partially to the van. I'm like, oh, we're still hearing it. It's just not true at all. And he says that there's a
Oh,
there's,
crud.
Oh my
It sounds like Donna Kennedy's uncles or like Marvin Harry at this point. They lock her in the
Or
yard.
Uncle Frank.
Or Uncle Frank.
Frank
Why would you climb the
I
doggy
think-
door? Oh
I
my
think Marvin
gosh.
Harry
How
would
big
be
was a
better
doggy
for
door if a
Frank.
kid can fit through it?
I know. That has to be pretty big. Oh my goodness.
It must have
All
a
right, so
big
they-
dog.
That's the house of Satan. That's what that house is.
This is a
Oh.
horror movie now. It's
Yeah.
Home Alone, the horror or whatever. It's a horror movie now. So
Home
we're not
on the
even
homicide.
yes. So Marv comes back to the van. And he's like, "There's other people in there. They already hit the house, and there's a second guy, and he shot him, and it's just there's a murder now." And Harry's like, "Well, let's just wait it out then. Let's just wait here, and we'll see. Hey, they'll show up, and we'll go tell the police and be like, there's a murder, and here you go, and we'll just kind of take credit for figuring it out." And he's like, "We'll just wait here, and we'll just sit and just wait it out." So then the next scene comes, and we see the mom of the year again at the airport asking for tickets, and they're like, "We're sold out. Like, everything's unavailable. Other airlines, because it's
perpetual hope.
Yep.
it's the day before. It's too much. Like, it's like, oh my goodness. And she's just like, "Come on, give me anything you got." And then we meet Gus, and he's a polka king of the Midwest. What is polka? Am I just that young where I don't?
Oh my god. It's like a Polish brand of music.
It's like polka,
Okay.
polka, polka, polka.
I feel like I'm back at work and the teenagers ask me what is throwing water and gremlins multiplying mean. That's how I feel.
Oh, okay,
as
that I
a-
get, but I have no
I'm
idea
glad
what
somebody
polka
does.
is. And
She
I
said,
actually
"What is
always,
polka?"
I love Morgan.
I always thought he just said like polka, like poke. Like I was like, oh, he's just making up words.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Urkel. Steve Urkel.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I
So-
love Morgan.
So we see.
Steve Urkel.
I love
So
Morgan.
Gus is like, "Hey, come with us. You know, we're the cool polka group. Let's just come in our van that we're renting, and like we're not weird at all. Like
Nope.
it's Polish dance. No idea. Oh my goodness. And so
But you know they're
Gus
falling
gives-
all over each other.
So Gus gives Kevin's mom a ride, and he's like, "All right, let's go. I'll take you." And she got all excited. And it's like, "Thank you so much." And it's like a Christmas miracle. But I don't know how much I would want to stay with a polka group. I thought they
Because
said
they're gonna
poker
polka
too.
Morgan. That's what they're gonna
Yes,
do.
I thought they said poker too, like as in like
Oh.
they're like a
I
cool
love
poker
her.
group, you know? Like they play poker. I don't know. This is polka. That's anyway. There you go. Next scene. Next scene. I believe Jesse Lee's going.
Yeah, Jesse Lee's up. All right, Jesse Lee, take it away.
So my section starts out with Kevin going outside to cut down the tree, which I like that he chose to have a Kevin-sized tree because he, took the little ladder out
Yes.
right at the right spot, so it's his size. But because he went outside by himself and is cutting down the tree, they're figuring out that he's alone, and he goes inside. He's putting little ornaments on the tree, and somehow he sees Marv looking through the window
Yep.
at him. He's like, somehow this bulb has like perfect reflection of what's behind him.
It's a candy bulb.
Yeah.
It is a candy
this
bulb. You're
candy
right.
bulb has a perfect reflection. So Marv and Harry are walking away, and they're like, "We're gonna come back at 9:00." And Kevin opens the window. Kevin and pretended his dad was home, and he walked away and
Yep.
opened the window. Here's the plan that they're gonna come back at 9. My question for this scene, as you know, as we all know, there's very questionable things that happen throughout the entire movie. There's these two guys tromping through people's yards, and I don't know. I'm a police dispatcher. Someone would be calling 911 about that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just.
But remember, most of the families are supposedly out. None of
Yeah.
them are home on that street.
True.
And the cops, what are they going to do?
Wait, but where was Mr. Magoo? Mr. Magoo.
I
Wait,
guess
who?
that's proven to be the best. I don't know. Mr.
Who's Mr. Magoo?
Magoo.
The scary guy. Didn't he live next door?
Oh,
The
Marley.
station guy. What was his
Yeah, Marley was
steamboat?
there.
What was it?
Yeah.
House
Yeah,
Ben guy?
I'm getting to that because I don't think Marley understands the concept of like children versus adults. So
Okay.
we'll talk about that in a little bit. There's
Okay.
also a little scene in here. I didn't write it down, but I think it's at this point where I think they just threw it in there to prove that the mom and the is not enjoying her ride with the poker group because
Yeah.
right beforehand
Well,
in
she
the
shouldn't.
airport they said, "Oh, as long as you don't mind riding with a bunch of polka bums," and she was like, "I'd
Yep.
love to." Well,
Yeah.
Maury Povich has told us that that is a lie because she was miserable. And that
As
was like
she should
the
be.
entire scene. I just didn't even understand. It was just like a really quick scene. That's why I didn't even write it down. I'm like, I think this is just to show that she hated her life.
She should hate her life.
Yeah. So Kevin goes to visit Santa, to ask for his family back.
Yep.
And there's one point where he says, "I know you're not the real Santa," and he's like, why do you think that? And he's like, "Well, I'm old enough to know how it all works." And I've seen the movie a million times. So every time he says that, a little part of me like has a bit of a panic attack. Like, don't tell.
Yeah, don't
no."
tell. Exactly. Yep.
You're like, no. And then when he's like, well, you just report to the real Santa. I'm like, okay, you didn't ruin for every single little.
My
little-
one
little-
funny liner for the whole night.
Mr. Magoo was the one polka.
Polka dance.
Jesus.
That's my one funny line for the whole night.
Well, I hope you have something Darth Vader related to say later.
Crap, let me think. I'll think of something.
So Kevin leaves the Santa behind with his junky car. He walks by a family and he's starting to feel, like he's missing his fam. Goes to church.
Yep.
This is where we're going to talk about where Marley does not understand adults.
We're gonna get into the
versus
psyche of old man Marley now. Okay.
children. He just walks right over to him and is like, "Can I sit down?" And I get it. I get it. He wants to dispel these rumors of him being a serial killer. But the thing is, he sits down and he's like, "There's a lot of things going around about me." It's like,
Yep.
how do you know what's going on the 8-year-old circuit of rumors here? Like, are you hanging out with your other 10-year-old friends down the street and they're like, "Oh, you know what the 8-year-old down the street's saying about you?" It's like, because I know that adults aren't saying those stories about you. This is like the little kid rumor.
He can hear them. Remember the beginning? Da-na-na-na, and he sees them in the window. He knows.
So maybe that's what it is. But yes, they have this whole back and forth with Marley and Kevin and for some reason, and Marley at one point is just like, "You need to get going." And it's like, you're telling. It's like, how about, where are your parents, child?
Yes.
Why are you here alone, child? And why don't you come with me to the police department and we'll no, he's like, "Go home, get out of here."
Yeah.
Like, doesn't
And
say
it's
like
like-
that.
It's like 8:30 at night because Ray is getting close to the time when the bandits are coming, and he's all alone in the church.
And Kevin could have just spoke up and been like, "Oh yeah, someone's about to rob my house tonight, but I'm gonna totally take them down." And then Marley would have been like, "You know what? That sounds like a bad plan, bud. How about me and you and all your little friends go to talk to the police department?" So, what? Oh,
So I want to add into the church scene.
Yes.
When the choir is singing "Oh Holy Night,"
Right.
at the beginning of the church scene, that is like not just that song. That specific iteration of that song is like, you were talking about Goosebumps earlier. That is like the best Christmas song, hands down. Like, that gives me goosebumps. That specific version of that song.
Like choir, like I feel like when you hear choir songs, like a boys' choir, when they're singing like "Carol of the Bells" and like "Oh Holy Night," just hearing that, it's so beautiful the way it sounds. And you're right, totally goosebumps.
It's pure Christmas.
yes.
It's very haunting. It's a like hauntingly beautiful version of the song.
Yes.
Yep. So So then after the church scene, with our nice song but awkward conversation, he's walking out and the clock is striking on the hour, and I counted it's 8 o'clock.
Wow. Okay.
He starts to run home, but he's like, he's
He's like awkward.
Run. So I don't know how far this church is from his house, but as soon as he gets home, the timer on his lights come on. So it's like,
yes,
even if it took like 3 minutes to run home, your lights are on timers for 8:03. Okay. I don't.
That's true.
And
didn't they say earlier, like, okay, 8:01, 8:02? Like, didn't they say what time the lights come
yes,
on?
that's right,
right.
Skidoo.
That's
right.
A good point.
I was wondering whose
now.
part was that? I was waiting for that to come out, and it didn't.
So there was also there was another lights on timers, a weird timer thing at one point in the scene too. But I just thought it was a little weird that like why are these on this strange schedule?
Wasn't it when he was running down the street, as he was running down, the lights were turning on?
Oh,
I think you're right, Ian. Yeah.
But you know what? Sammy Skidoo has completely, explained that away. So,
but just a little tidbit though of security wise, you never want to set your timers to a set time. You always want to do it in between in minutes, because that's more realistic to a human being turning on the lights than automatic setting.
I understand that for internal lights, like if you were doing it to make it seem like you're home. These were like the Christmas lights. So where I was like, I would just have to turn on at like 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock or whatever.
Right.
But yes, that is a very good point.
Mm-hmm.
For anyone planning trips.
Did they like all coordinated on the street? This one turns on, that one turns on, that one turns on, that one turns on.
I know.
It was like very pretty.
As he's running,
Walk down the frozen food section.
Yeah.
It's true.
Christian, you need to make a GIF of you doing that run. It's so funny. Yeah, and just like.
Yeah, my computer froze, so I didn't even see it.
Oh, do it again.
The run.
Do it again. Like his little hands and the little mittens are clapping his hands together.
So anyways, so he goes to the setup.
Yeah.
He lays out his map, which you had said.
Battle plan.
Macaulay had drawn himself. And I'm like watching him do this. And I'm like, there was no internet back then. There was no Pinterest.
Yep.
There was no YouTube. How did he think of all these things? There's no way that an 8-year-old, how am I making this
8 years old? No.
His dad is raising the wrong kid to be the hitman.
No, but wait. Back in the days, there was some vicious cartoons that nowadays are very controversial, like Acme, like Warner Brothers, Bugs Bunny, the Coyote, and the Roadrunner. Like there was cartoons that nowadays parents are like, oh no, it's too harsh for them, and you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess that is a good point too, because he does. I mean, when he's putting that nail on the sandpaper, I'm like,
yeah,
vicious.
That's a messed up mind. Like, that's gonna hurt.
I told you he's not right.
He's not right.
Little deranged.
And even if it's my house, I have to defend it. I understand. But you're talking about like you're like, as
murder.
I said, this is murder.
Yes, you're gonna kill someone.
Premeditated, actually.
Yeah, someone says Bleach Wars says Tony Stark wishes he had it this. I know he would have been Spider-Man if he had got to him before Tom Holland. You know?
Yeah.
So, anyways, so he so then at 8:57,
I love it.
At 8:57, the most annoying thing in the world happens.
Here we go. Go ahead, Jessie Lee.
The microwave dings, and he's taking out his little microwave macaroni and cheese. He has his table all set. So I'm talking a plate, multiple silverware, like he's setting up for
like the little fork, the bigger fork, the knife, the spoons.
And the spoon, all for a microwave mac
And
and cheese meal
Candles.
that are lit.
Yes.
So he has planned out this whole thing, including the setup for his meal. He sits down, and another pet peeve, picks up a knife and fork.
The only knife in that knife block. That's
As
the
if
only
he's
knife in
going
that
to-
knife block from the beginning.
Mac and cheese.
As if he's going to be cutting through his mac and cheese.
Yep.
And then as he doesn't even get it. He doesn't even get to pick it up with his fork when the clock starts striking 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
You planned this entire evening.
Yep.
You have this map. You lit the candles, and you couldn't figure out that you did not have enough time to eat that mac and cheese. You could have planned for 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes. Yeah.
That's so true. All of that elaborate planning to not eat his mac and cheese.
And back then, the video games were not that bad, so you can't even blame his.
Yeah, you
disturbed
can't
mind.
blame video games. You're right.
So, anyways, that's one of my biggest pet peeves. He should have planned better. I mean, honestly, just
I think that's the best part of the movie I ever heard.
he needed those carbs.
I think he was a bit hangry. He probably put a little bit
Yes.
of malice into those booby traps because he didn't get to eat dinner.
Dinner.
He didn't. You're
true.
right.
I would be desperate to finish everything to have that bite.
He's been running all day. He needs
All day.
Yeah, he's been working hard.
He needs a
He's a track
Snickers.
star.
Is what he needs.
He needed
Macaulay, you know how you get when you're hungry.
He needed,
Yes.
He needed some carbs.
You turn into a sociopath.
He didn't get them.
He
Well,
didn't get
they leave him alone. They probably just don't feed him. They never
He
had
didn't
food in
get-
the house.
He didn't get pizza with cheese. He
No.
didn't get his mac and cheese, but yet he had a whole bunch of ice cream and the crunchy taters.
And the crunch taters. And the only way out's through a doggy door. That's his only sanctuary.
Well, next time you guys watch it, I hope that you think about that when you see him pick up his knife and fork to eat that mac and cheese, and then the clock strikes 9, and he's like, "Oh, I didn't know this was going to happen."
Yeah.
He took the food out of the microwave. It said 8:57 right on there. You'd think that, and he had it on like styrofoam, which would have melted in the microwave. By the way, he had on styrofoam paper, like a paper plate or a styrofoam plate. When he took it out, if you knew it was 8:57, just take the thing and start eating right there.
Eating right there.
Just to eat it right in front of the microwave. Candlelight dinner, microwave light dinner. Don't.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, then the attack on the house begins.
Attack on the house.
Attack on the house.
I love
And
it.
The house. I know. And the house is fighting back. Thanks to Kevin.
This is like Harry Potter, like the final battle. The school is fighting back.
Yes, exactly.
Hogwarts is fighting back.
So there's the battle on the house, and the only parts in my little my section here that we really get to see, I'm just like, I would have given up after I fell down those stairs at whatever age they are. I mean, I'm guessing they're probably like at least 40.
Oh God.
I'm guessing
Yeah.
like I'm gonna be 39 this year. I don't have to fall down a full flight of stairs for me to give up. Like I would probably slip and almost fall and be like, oh, screw this.
Yeah, that's it. I'm done.
Like,
I'm done.
No. There's a kid in that house. We're not going
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, not worth it. Let's go somewhere where I'm not going to fall downstairs because I've fallen down a lot of stairs in my life. I'm actually really like good at it at this
Oh,
point.
wow.
Oh, Jesse.
It's bad.
I've seen it. I've been there a couple times.
I've seen it.
Yeah,
Got the t-shirt. There it is.
it takes some time to recover from that
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
at our age. So
Yes.
I'll end it with, I think once he because he fell down the stairs, or like, Mark fell down that huge flight of stairs. Harry fell down the stairs in the front, which are just a few, but he did a couple times. And I just think that I would have been done.
Yeah.
So that's it for my section, and the rest of the attack is up to Sammy Skidoo.
All right.
Oh
Scooby-Doo.
man.
I know there was something in between. I was just
It was when Harry
the iron
Harry-
hitting in his face.
Harry goes to do the what do you call it? He burns his hand on the doorknob.
But then right before that, see, that's where I started. Marv gets hit in the face with an iron.
Oh yeah, that happened too.
Oh wait, where he's trying to open the door, he's just like, but then he just turns the knob and it's open.
Yep. Sorry, I skipped a couple things because
It's okay. It's okay.
No, I thought it was my fault. I was like, I
No.
started with the
you guys have
hands.
seen it enough times where you've seen that.
Skidoo, what have you got for us?
All right. So Harry goes right up to the door. He puts his hand on there. Whatever. What is that thing that Kevin
It's
has
an
on the
M.
door?
Oh,
But what is the thing that he hangs on there?
The
I can
hot
never
wire.
figure it out. I'm bringing home.
Hot
Snickers.
wire.
yeah,
That
it's
sounds like a torture device. Where do you put that?
it's
He took it out of a grill.
was it
He took it,
Okay.
during my part. I saw him, and I was wondering the same thing. I'm like, what is that? He takes.
wait,
It's like this loop, and it was on a grill,
Yep.
and he took it off to heat to put. Or
To
maybe
heat the
that's how
doorknob.
he's heating it up. I don't know.
I don't know. I do
I
know
thought it
that
was some-
Harry does have a wedding ring on. I don't know if you guys noticed that. Harry's wearing a wedding ring at one point. So I'm wondering what his wife thinks about all this.
I know.
Oh well, the wife
or
that
he-
isn't.
His wife.
Yeah.
I was just gonna
that's
say
right,
maybe it's
Morgan.
Harry.
You mean Marv?
Or Marv.
Harry married himself, guys. He's like,
I'm
Didn't Dennis Rodman do that?
knitting like Wet Bandit,
yes.
like
Little-
Christmas sweaters.
All right, Skidoo. Sorry about that.
No, I wanted that. No, you're fine.
Okay.
So Marv is now walking up the stairs, trying to get into the house. And there's all this tar on every
Yeah.
single step. So every time he takes a step, his shoes are coming off, his socks are coming off. Why didn't you just take stuff around the basement, put it on the stairs, and walk up? But then his feet are bare. He steps on the nail. It went halfway through his foot. But then, of course, he falls down the rest of the flight of stairs.
But he falls backwards, like straight.
Yeah.
He just goes, "Oh!" Like he goes straight back.
That's a broken back. Seriously.
Well, did you know that the way that they did those stunts where they fell in the air, they were the first ones to do it. So now
Oh, wow.
I forget what they call it. I think they call it the Home Alone stunt. That movie is what started that. So they created that. So interesting. I watched
Very.
that the movies that made us. That's
Yeah.
the only reason why I know the stuff. So what I don't understand is when he lands on the floor, where is the blood? Where is the blood?
There is
So
none.
I know, really. And when Harry burns his hand, why is it not falling off? So my theory is this snow is magical, has healing
Jesus.
properties because you put, no joke, you put your hand in, it's fine. It just hurts a little. Because he's going
That's
to end
all.
up stepping on the snow. So,
Yep.
so Harry's mad. He runs to the back door and he's saying that he wants to rip Kevin's head off, and he uses his burnt hand to check on the door. If you really burnt your hand, your nerves are gone. So if it's hot, you're not going to feel it.
No, but he goes.
Use your good hand to actually feel.
Mhm.
But so then what does he do? So then when he opens the door now, he burns his head. But instead of moving, he stands there and keeps on standing there. So of course he goes back to the magical snow and it miraculously heals him, so he does not have skin peeling off. You should be able to see his brain by how long he stood there.
And the pattern his hat makes
Yeah.
is like this perfect star pattern on his head.
So Marv is mad. He grabs a crowbar and he starts to go up the stairs. But remember, they are icy. He doesn't remember. So he's falling. So when you're looking at Harry outside of the door, so the door is right here, but the stairs are right there. Why didn't they hear each other? Like, why didn't they see each other? All Harry has to do is look down, and he's going to see Marv right there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are they in another dimension? Are they in the multiverse? So you don't hear each other?
The multiverse.
Marv was probably passed out from
I watched
falling
Loki,
again.
so multiverse was stuck in my head.
Yeah.
All right, so
Spoiler.
I know, really. I didn't say anything. Shoot.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh my god. I'm so
Come on, Skidoo, hold it. Hold it
I
together.
know. All right, so when Marv finally gets up there, there's a door right there that Harry went through. He's not going to go through the door. Why would you do that? He's going to walk around to the front of the house again and go in the open window. Now, the window is wide open, no screen. Aren't you going to think that's a little odd in winter? Window's
Totally
just wide
inviting.
open. Yeah.
Yep.
So, of course, he goes in there. Oh, by the way, when he's running, you don't see any blood. So, like I said, the snow has healing properties that his foot is like closing up or something. The nail. Yep. So, of course, he crawls through the window and he steps on all the ornaments. But do you notice I loved it, the 80s lights on the Christmas tree?
Mhm.
Every
The
time I
big
watched
lights,
that, there was the big ones.
Big thick
I love
bulbs.
it.
Yep.
Yeah. So, of course, he falls. And one would think you would move the rest of them. So don't step on anymore. No,
Nope.
just step right on them. So they're looking, Harry's looking for him, and Kevin's just taunting him. Come and get me and everything. You coming to get me.
Mm-hmm.
So Harry walks through the dining room, and he gets smacked in the face with saran wrap. And then when he moves a little closer, the fan turns on with all the feathers. So Kevin is still taunting them. Let me see. Oh yeah, they're finally reunited. Like they finally came back together. They don't even recognize each other. It's been
Why
a
you
long
dressed
time.
like a chicken?
Yeah. Why you just like a chicken? Wear your shoes. Like they've had a journey. They've
Why
each
the hell
had
did
their
you
own
take
journey.
off your shoes? Yeah, that's great.
Like that's what you
Why
notice.
the
That's
heck
what
you
you care
dress like
about. He cares about your feet. He cares about the feathers. So So then Marv is like, "Come on, we can take him. When are you going to take him?" Like I just don't get that. Like after your head is burned, after your foot has a nail in it. Okay. So Kevin is running upstairs. I know. Kevin is running upstairs. And so they go to follow him. Oh no, first, sorry, I forgot. When they get in front of the stairs, they fall on all the cars.
Mm-hmm. The micro machines.
Yep. So they're upset. They go running up the stairs, and Kevin throws down the paint can. So of course Harry sees it. He ducks, and poor Marv gets it in the face and falls backwards again. Harry should have known, but he turned around and then he got hit in the face. So he lands on top of Harry, and the one thing that went too far, he knocked out his gold tooth.
Yep.
That's not personal. That was personal. He went too far. It's on now. So
yeah,
Kevin,
burn his head. You burn my head, it's okay. But you knock my chompers out, boy. Forget it.
Yeah.
Where's my gold tooth?
That was personal.
I'm thinking about how he set those paint cans up. He had to have known like how tall they were.
Yes.
Like he had to know a lot. He had to know some physics to make sure he got that swing right. That was
exactly.
But he couldn't get his macaroni and cheese timed well, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Could not.
He's like Rambo. He knows everything.
So then Kevin does one of the first smart things. He finally calls 911. Probably should have done that in the beginning when your mom left you at home.
Right.
We'll wait until the burglars are in the house about to get you. So he goes upstairs, goes to run, and he has a rope there. He's going up to the attic. They finally get up there. They trip over the rope. So Marv has him by the foot. So he's trying to pull him. Then he sees Buzz's tarantula.
I love this scene.
He's reaching for it. He finally grabs it and puts it on Marv.
Ugh.
Right on his face.
That scream.
The scream is the best part. So then the spider ends up on Harry. So finally, he has a good reason to use his crowbar. because he didn't use it before, but now he's going to use it. Hits him so hard. He should be dead just from that alone.
Right in the
But no.
chest. Yep. Chest shot.
Nope, of course not. So he takes the bicycle handlebars and creates a zip line down to the treehouse. Almost falls out of the treehouse. So then they're saying, no, we should just go out and follow him. They're like, no. Harry's like, no, that's what he wants us to do. We're going to go right down the zip line. Okay. So they're going down the zip line. He cuts it. So, of course, they go slamming in to the brick wall. So he says, first of all, when they're on the zip line, Harry's stunt double is like 5 feet taller than him. He's supposed to be this little guy. I noticed this when I was a kid because I didn't know about stunt doubles. I was like, why did he grow so tall? Of course, as a little kid.
Oh, that's the old guy. Okay.
Yeah. So then he goes, hey, I'm calling 911. I'm calling the police. And he goes running across the street.
Yep.
So Harry finally does something intelligent. He had to have gone to the Emerald City to finally get a brain because he finally figured out he finally had to do. Knowing him, he stole it out of the Scarecrow's head, but he finally figured out what Kevin was doing. They run in from the front door. Well, Kevin goes down the stairs into the flooded basement, and he comes up, and who's in his face? Marv and Harry. They finally figured it out. Yeah. Hiya, pal. They hang him up on the door, and he's telling about all the ways, everything, how he hurt them, they're going to hurt him. And I'm going to bite off these fingers one by one and put them in there. And Mr. Magoo comes.
Yes, Mr. Magoo. Enter Mr. Magoo again.
Comes in to save the day. So then he picks him up and he, takes him out of there. Kevin goes home and the police finally get there and they're arresting him. And Marv is so proud of his work about being the Wet Bandits. They know every house that they hit. Harry's telling them to shut up. Well, they get into the car and he has this moment where Harry is making eye contact with Kevin and he waves. So I think that the title of the movie is wrong. I really believe that it's Survivor because he outwitted, outplayed, and outsmarted 2 grown men. So I'm just saying. So the Christmas music finally starts. He's getting ready for Santa. He has his Christmas cookies out. He has the carrots for Rudolph. He puts his milk there. He straightens the stockings and he goes up and sleeps in his mom and dad's bed. So then you cut back to the mom in the van with the polka singers. I don't even know which ones they are. And the mom says she's a bad parent. So John Candy says, no, you're not. And he talks about all the guys, how this one's never even met his kids. This one, whatever. Okay. She is a bad parent. They have people watching their kids.
Yeah.
She has nobody watching her kids. She is a bad parent.
Absolutely.
Oh. So, mom comes in. She calls him. Kevin's all excited. He goes downstairs looking for her, and the mom is just like completely shocked because the house is just decorated beautifully. So they finally see each other. All she has to say is, "Sweetheart, Merry Christmas, and all is forgiven." It was sort of like she finally became a mom, just like Darth Vader became a dad at the end.
Full circle.
There you go. There's the Darth Vader.
I was like looking for a place to put that in. I was like, oh, I finally found one. So that was just for you.
Looking at those 2 pictures of Macaulay Culkin, the young and the old, that was like young and old Anakin Skywalker.
Oh, Jesus.
Darth Vader.
There you go.
Oh, it is. Oh, that was foretelling.
In case you didn't bring it home with that one, I had that one ready to go.
So, like, all is just forgiven, which I don't understand because she literally left him alone with no food. 2 burglars were trying to kill him, but she says, "Merry Christmas, sweetheart." It's all good. So then the family walks in And do you notice how excited she gets? Like this, but she never did that for Kevin. She was just like, oh, sweetheart, Merry Christmas. Everybody's home.
Yep.
Oh, Kevin, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. So they all come in and Dad gives him a hug. Buzz has a sweet moment with him. And then they find out he went shopping and they're all shocked.
Yes.
That's what you're shocked about.
I don't know how. They're like, what did you do? And he goes, just hung around. Because,
Yep.
he knew they weren't going to believe him. That was going to just be some crazy story. So Buzz, they're all scattering. And the dad says, oh, you're a funny guy. And then he goes, he can't even tie a shoe, but he can go shopping.
Yes.
He could do a lot more, Mr. Buzz.
So Kevin goes to the window and he sees that Mr. Magoo is reunited with his son and
he
his
sees him.
granddaughter.
He hears it again. He's like, whoa. He
Yep.
sees him again in the window.
He sees it. The dad finds the gold tooth.
And he puts it in his mouth. He goes and puts it in his mouth. He's like,
No, he looks
it up and he goes,
Yeah, he
like,
he goes.
I thought he was like,
Ew.
Oh, yeah. Like,
But it's incredible though. Kevin cleans up all of the mischief from the two burglars, but just happens to leave the gold tooth there. Like, does not pick up the gold tooth.
because isn't that where he lost his tooth, where all the cars were, where
Yep.
they,
That's what-
yeah. So I'm going to
Exactly.
pick up all the cars, but not see the gold tooth.
Not the tooth.
agreed.
So he's watching the old man, and Buzz yells, Kevin, what did you do to my room?
Yes.
Christine? That was the movie.
Great
Oh,
movie. Kind of
Guys.
creepy. Kind of
So,
scared. But great movie.
As you can see, we took a Christmas classic called Home Alone, and we went to a few different places with it. We took it all over. We took it to Paris. We took it to dark places. We took it to light places. We took it to Mr. Magoo, old cartoon characters from the 50s.
Mr. Magoo.
We renamed it to The Survivor, and we made it
Survivor.
a horror movie.
That's right.
And-
Yes.
And we learned that styrofoam can survive in microwaves along with a banquet microwavable macaroni and cheese meal. Absolutely. Oh, now
And we learned not to set the table and use a knife and fork with macaroni and cheese, especially
Absolutely.
if Jessie Lee is around, because she'll get mad.
So before we let everyone go tonight, I just want to thank everybody for being here, but we have to rate the movie real quick. So I have my little Diz reels right here. Okay, so there's 5. It's on a scale from 1 to 5. So you can choose whichever one you like. I'm going to go last on this one. We're going to go backwards. So Skidoo, I want you to start. If you had to pick this, now I know it's hard to rate the movie. I want you to rate it as a Christmas movie, not as like the greatest movie of all time. So as a Christmas movie, how would you rate this? From 1 being the to 5 being, oh, that's dope.
Honestly, I would rate it a 5. I loved it when I was a kid. We watched it all the time, every year, and kids like my nephew is getting into it. So kids for years are going to watch this. And I mean, all the booby traps and everything, like that's still amazing to kids. Like kids still want to do that. So I would give it 5.
Okay. And by the way, Home Alone 1 and Home Alone 2 are, in my opinion, the only Home Alones. 3, 4, and
Yes.
5, no. They're not. I don't consider them even part of any kind of movie genre in this
I agree.
entire world.
I agree.
Jessie Lee and Ian, what do you got for me? What do you want to rate this one?
As a Christmas movie, I would say
Yes.
it's good. The soundtrack is solid for
Yep.
Christmas. And I think, there are some pretty bad Christmas movies, but just the fact that they take place at or around Christmas time.
Yes.
Try hard.
Movie. We won't go down that rabbit hole right now. But
I know, it was funny.
no, I'd give it, as far as a Christmas movie goes, I'd say 5 because
Wow, we got 2 5s. Okay.
The
as
classic.
a standalone movie, you suspend disbelief. It's a kids movie, like
Yep.
all these things about physics.
A kids movie. It's a kids like it's a book how to like kill people for a kid.
It's everything aside from itinerary planning and physics.
Yeah.
And, murder. But You know, like, it's a
Sledding
it's
down the
a,
stairs.
it's a good Christmas movie.
How many kids did that and
Absolutely.
broke their
Yeah.
necks?
Back together and everybody's happy in the end.
Yep.
I am gonna say a 5, and not just for a Christmas movie, just all over movie. I love
Yeah.
this movie. I could watch it over and over again.
Yep. Absolutely.
I was watching it at work today, and each officer that came in was like, "Are you watching Home Alone?" Like they could hear it from the hallway and be like, "Are you watching Home Alone?" And they'd come in, like watch it for a little bit. And me and one of the guys that I worked with one year tried to watch it as many times as we could when we had just cable in there and no like Roku. We watched it probably 8 times at work, like at one point, like throughout one season. Like we just, I think it's just such a good movie. And going back to something Sammy said about like, you know, sorry, I think you said something about how it like kind of doesn't get old or whatever. And I think someone else said it in the chat too. But it also it has aged well too, because it's not like you're looking at it, and besides like the VHS and stuff like that, but it's not like you're looking at it and being like, oh, this would be impossible like nowadays, or like there's nothing really glaringly obvious about it to make it be like, oh, this could never, like this didn't age well or whatever. It's still just as good now as it was like, you know, 20 years ago.
Yeah, it's timeless.
Because like some 80s movies, you know, you just can't get into. Like I was saying with the Gremlins, you know, my instructors had no idea what that meant. But oh god. But Home Alone, yeah, you definitely did age well. I agree.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on to Morgan.
I'm gonna have to agree that it does age well, but I don't know if half is a thing. But I'm gonna do like 4.5 or a 4, just because it's not like, it's just not like my go-to Christmas movie. I still love it. It's a great Christmas movie. I will watch it every year, every season. But it's just not like the go-to in my family, and it's just it's still very cute. I love 1 and 2. 3, 4, and 5 they don't exist. They kind of ruined it, to be honest. That was just. Anyway, I don't know. I definitely really like the movie. It has aged super well. Like it's amazing movie. I don't know. It's just not something that like it's like my first pick for a Christmas movie. Like I don't know, like A Christmas Story or a movie like that. Like that's what I would pick first.
Christmas Story is a good one.
Yeah, and I think that's just because I don't know, like that's like a tradition in my family. We always watch that one. So we still watch Home Alone as well, but I'm going to do a 4 just because it's not my go-to, but I still really enjoy the movie.
Got it. Thank you, Morgan. Harumami?
I agree with everybody. This is most definitely a timeless movie. It is a family movie. It is to be enjoyed with your family, with your children, with your friends, with just about, I think it can relate with everybody. You know, everybody can watch Home Alone, and I think nowadays everybody knows what Home Alone is.
Absolutely.
So it's a great movie. I give it a 5. It's a must watch in my family every single Christmas season. It cannot be Christmas until we watch Home Alone at least once. But usually within the Christmas season, I can watch this 10, 15 times just again and again. And this really gets me into the Christmas mood, especially with the soundtrack. Like Ian said, the soundtrack is timeless. As soon as you hear that, it's like, it's Christmas. It's definitely Christmas time. So definitely a 5. Love this movie. And part 2, do not get me started, because that is just, that's a pee in your pants type of laughing movie.
Yeah, I agree.
Honest.
All right, so I'm going to end it with my rating. You guys should know already, I'm jumping all over the 5 Diz Reels. All over it. I'm going to basically repeat what everybody said. It aged well. It's timeless when it comes to Christmas. My family tradition was always on Black Friday. I was one of those people. Before stores were open on Thanksgiving, we'd get up at 4 a.m. We'd go shopping on Black Friday. And then I'd come home. And then before you decorate the tree, we would watch Home Alone 1 and Home Alone 2. And I had to watch them both. I couldn't just watch one. I just couldn't watch one. I had to watch them both. And as Ian said, the soundtrack is fantastic. When you hear that it's called Somewhere in My Memory. And when you hear that song, it's like I said, it screams Home Alone. You think of nothing else but this movie. How many times have people quoted, keep the change, you filthy animal? Just that one alone. There's ugly sweaters made with that. There's like different memes made with that. This movie, we took it all over the place, but you can't change the fact that it is a fantastic Christmas movie. It is just one for the ages. If I had to put it up against the second one, I don't know where I would place the first or second one, because the second one might be better.
Yeah.
It might be a little bit better.
I agree.
Jesse Lee, you don't agree with that?
I guess I've seen it a few times, and it
A
doesn't
few?
Stick with me as well as this one. Like,
Okay.
I know this one by heart. I was like
Right.
mouthing the words as I was watching it, and I don't know. I mean, I guess I've seen the second one. I like it, but I just never, I don't get that like, oh, I want to watch it. I want to watch Home Alone.
Okay. All right.
No, I have to the second
It's
one.
hard. It's so hard to
Oh.
gauge. And the thing is, it's the same premise. It really is the same exact premise.
I feel that I fell in love with the characters from the first one, and to see them again going through the same thing, like they didn't learn their lesson, and this lesson was just like 5 times harder.
Yep.
So it's just, they're both classics. They're both so good.
Okay, so thank you all for joining us in the chat tonight. I am sorry if we didn't get to every single person's comment, but we were in our own little world here trying to go through the movie. I want to welcome everyone next Saturday night. If you can make it, we are doing DizJabberz71 trivia. So Saturday night at 8 p.m., chance to win some gift cards if you could show up. We will have some people on the screen, surprise you, and share out the stream for this one if you guys want some friends. Everybody loves Home Alone, and hopefully you guys all enjoyed our take on the movie. And without further ado, I want to thank Harumami, Morgan, Disney's Enthusiast, Sammy Skidoo, Ian, and Jesse Lee. Our next movie, DizFlicks Movie Club, will be coming at some point in the next few months. We need some time to, we got to, kind of sit back and pick out what the next movie is going to be. But you guys will all know soon enough. So we're going to take our McDonald's drinks, if everyone can. We're going to toast to Harry, Marv, and Kevin, the 3 best characters in a Christmas movie. And we're going to take our leave. Thank you, everybody. DizJabberz71 and Harumami and Disney's Enthusiast and Sammy Skidoo and Jesse and Ian out. Kiss goodnight, guys.